Hello all, and welcome to our streaming of the One Ring role-playing game by Cubicle 7. I will be tonight's Loremaster. Let me start out by letting our characters introduce ourselves, starting with you, Josh. You start first.
Sure. My name is Ronen, and my father was a rich merchant, is a rich merchant of Laketown, and he saved all the family's money to send me off because I was the smart one. He sent me off to Radagast, deep in the woods, to learn lore so that I could become a great healer and come back and bring honor on the family by being a healer of Laketown. I've been gone for several years, and I've just come back with a load of herbs, mostly pipeweed, to sell, and just to come back and see my father, and also to see my brother again. I'm a little bit worried that my father might not be too happy that I haven't really learned enough about herbalism to become the medicine man that he wanted me to become. So I'm a little bit worried about that, but on the other hand, I always know how to have a good time.
All right. And let's then now jump to Ronan's brother. I think if you're still sticking with that.
I'll be playing Sigmar, a Swallowtail, also a man of Laketown. Ronen is the one who went away to go to Wizard College. I'm the one who stayed home and helped work the business. Sigmar is a very upstanding man, both figuratively and literally. He's very tall and he's very strong in heart and body, but not so much of wits. He's really good at boating, fishing. He's lived in Laketown his whole life, and he is ready to go off and don his family's armor that's been in their family for generations, and see some adventure out there.
All right, and then let's jump to Mitch then.
Hey guys, I am playing the Hobbit, Ollo Bulger. If you are ever in a tavern and there is a corner, you'll find Ollo Bulger smoking a pipe and looking mysterious. But he's actually pretty friendly, so hang out with him.
Interesting, like a very small version of Aragorn in his introduction in the movies.
Bigger heart.
Right. And then Jesse.
I am Lagaron, Mirkwood elf. He is a treasure hunter. Worked for the king of the Mirkwood elves. He is a little let down by the king right now after the whole War of the Five Armies.
Battle of Five Armies.
The Battle of Five Armies, and his unchecked greed. Looking for money and treasure and a cut of the dwarven share. In fact, he was even sent with a small group during the battle by the king to try to get some certain items out of the dwarven horde while they were distracted, and failed, of course. And ever since then, he hasn't really wanted to spend time in the kingdom, though he's still elf and proud. He's kind of looking for a new home.
Okay. So now that you've been introduced, let's talk about how you all know each other and how this fellowship of sorts has come together. Well, obviously, Ronen and Sigmar, you're brothers, so you've known each other since birth. Is one of you older? Who's the older? Or are you twins?
That's a good question. It seems like if anybody, Ronen would be older. It seems like he's the one who's kind of taking the lead and going out and doing things. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, that works for me. I've traveled, I've seen the world, and I was meant to come back with far more. Scott, what is the event that's bringing me back home?
So my character is a slayer, and he has a hatred of trolls, and his shadow weakness is Curse of Vengeance. So mechanics-wise, he's driven by some hatred of trolls. Perhaps a troll killed our mother.
Yeesh, yeah. I was thinking the same thing. So somehow you managed to get a message to me, like through the birds and things. A bird told Radagast, and so I made my way home.
Okay. Mitch, how do you know the rest of this ragtag bunch, and also what brought you, being the furthest afield of the characters, what brought you to Wilderland and Laketown from the far off and pleasant Shire?
Well, Ollo Bulger first heard the stories of adventuring straight from Bilbo. Since then, he has been enraptured by these tales of heroics and has always dreamt himself a knight. So he started initially kind of hanging around his own taverns and dressing up in pieces of wood that he imagined was armor. And his parents didn't take kindly to it. They said, go out and be a potter or do some farming like all the other normal people. But Ollo is no normal hobbit. And so he set off the moment he was able to hold a walking stick and was off on adventure. How he knows these three, I mean, it could be we met at a tavern. He's very sociable, and he's eagerly trying to find people to join, to travel with, since he's so small in stature and wants to be so great.
Ronen says he comes back with pipe weed, and my useful item is a pipe made by the lakemen. Maybe we all smoke together or something.
I like that. You were like, yeah.
It is the finest pipeweed. I think you can all agree.
It's not finer than the Shire, but I'll second place.
I'll have to challenge you one day, Hobbit. This is a concoction I came up with on my own, of course, with Radagast's help. I think you will not find finer. The secret are these small blue berries, which I have blended in. It took me ages, lots of time, a fair bit of father's money.
Ooh. Yeah, we just roll up whatever we can find.
And you, Elf?
All right.
Yeah, I would guess I'm hanging out in the Dale. Or you guys are in Laketown, though, right?
Yeah, everybody's in Laketown. Considering the time frame, Laketown 2 had just finally been finished construction. They did not rebuild in the same spot where Smog was killed. They will moved a bit south to not be around the taint of the dragon's bones, who no one wants to touch. But this new Laketown is bigger and better than ever. There's dwarven quarters. There's even an elven quarter. That is personally they're very secretive, but there is a specific elven town in Laketown.
I've been spending less and less time with the elves, so I probably met the Hobbit, Ollo, one evening, and I've been probably hanging with him since he's about as far from an elf as you can find, but still pleasant company.
He's about as far from elfin height, that's for sure.
Are you good with a sword or a bow?
Bow.
I am probably looking for a bow teacher because I want to be just like Bard. I want to be a great hero who's good with a bow, and I'm not very good at it.
Okay, I would certainly take you up on that.
I can also teach you, brother. I'm quite skilled with a bow.
No, brother. I'll learn better than you.
Okay.
Sibling rivalry.
So, now that you've kind of got a feel for all the other characters, time to establish your fellowship focuses. Basically, the prize member in your party who either you will get bonuses for making sure they're safe, or you can spend points of hope for free to get bonuses when you're directly doing an action that would protect them, aid them, keep them from harm of some sort. I'm going on a limb saying that the two Lake brothers are probably going to be each other's fellowship focus.
That makes sense.
Yeah, certainly.
I would certainly probably take to the Hobbit.
Yeah, that would work. It doesn't have to be this mutual relationship. You can pick someone as your fellowship focus who necessarily you aren't theirs.
Right.
It's just someone you're attached to in the party. Because it seems at this point it's kind of established you've spent a fair amount of time. Laketown's a very cosmopolitan place. There are traders from as far as, there's even people from Dorwinian. There's even people as far south as Gondor. It's a very cosmopolitan place. Everybody's got mixes and mingles. And there are, your standard typical fantasy RPG, like large taverns. Especially now since the town itself is bigger and better than ever. Mitch, we can't hear you.
I'm gonna choose Sigmar. I see Sigmar as this young man seeking adventure, and I, a knight, can guide him. For he is a large fellow with big hands, and sure, he can't really pull a bow that well, but he's weak, and as a hobbit, I need to protect him.
Awesome.
I kind of feel the same way about you.
What?
I wouldn't say that, though.
I'm a hobbit, fierce and stout. Here is my handle.
I mean, Lagaron, you probably would have been in the King's Hall when another hobbit managed to break out 13 dwarves from the King's dungeon a few years back. So you're probably impressed by other hobbits, hoping that they are of the same burglary skill as that particular one.
Oh, yeah.
100% of the hobbits that have left the Shire have become heroes.
Yes.
All 2 of them, 6 of them.
And don't forget the old Took. So there's 3.
The old Took's just an angry old man.
100%.
Or the mightiest of hobbits, Lobelia Sackville Baggins. His shrill voice and powerful umbrella to defeat all foes. All right. So basically, you pick a fellowship focus, and as I said earlier, it's one of 2 options. It's either, there's what I think is the better of the choices is the source of hope. So basically, at the end of every session, if your fellowship focus is not miserable, wounded, or weary, you get a point of hope back. Which is, to my knowledge, one of the only ways to regularly get hope back. And then the other one is the source of inspiration, which basically lets you use points of hope for free to get attribute bonuses on skill rolls to aid your focus.
So one of them is kind of like you don't get any bonus now, but if you succeed in the end, you'll get a bonus. But the other one is if you choose this, you don't get a bonus in the end, but you get stuff during the session.
Yes.
You get like an ability. Okay.
Yes.
And we each choose this, right?
Yeah, you pick your person, then pick which of the 2 uses you want to do.
Yeah, I'll do the first one, the one that gives you hope.
That's a good choice. Everybody else, what are you doing or thinking?
I'll do the first one that gives you hope as well.
Solid.
And what was the other one?
Inspiration. Basically, you can get free attribute bonuses on skill rolls that aid or protect your fellowship focus.
Ooh, I'll do that.
Ship focus.
And where is, so on the second page, where does that go?
Oh,
I see, fellowship focus.
There's a fellowship focus. Yeah, we'll fill out the second page together because it requires us all to talk.
Actually,
about it.
Zach, I'll take the one that gives me the attribute bonus when I'm trying to defend my brother, Sigmar.
Bold choice. No one's ever picked that anytime I've ever run this game. And I've owned this game since it was, if I turn, since it was the old slipcase edition from 2011.
Wow.
So
Well,
relevant.
Mitch just picked it, so that's 2 of us.
Yeah. So interesting.
And we're both doing the same person.
That's right.
We gotta protect little Sigmar.
Lucky Siggy.
So to fill out the rest of the second page, your fellowship points are going to be at 5 for everybody. It's you get 1 for each character. Hobbits provide 2. Basically, if you spend a fellowship point, you can ask the party if you can spend a fellowship point to replenish your hope, and at least half the group has to agree to that. If they don't, you can still just say, screw it, I'm going to do it anyway, but you'll take a point of shadow. your travel rolls. Who has the highest actual travel skill amongst all four of you?
I have travel at 3.
More than me.
Me.
Yeah, more than me.
All right. Ronen, you will be the group's guide in the travel rolls on the second page, since you have the highest travel.
I shall be a guide. I'm probably the most traveled, aside from this
That makes sense.
Hobbit who's traveled a long way, but in one direction.
I kind of just went a
Yes.
straight line.
Straight line. He has other vectors Ronen has taken.
I've taken many vectors.
He's gone north, south, and east-west, not just east-west, so he's better. Pull this up.
Sometimes I wake up in the morning, I think I took too many vectors last night.
Scrolling up. All right, and who has the highest? Who has the highest explore?
Explorer, I have 1.
Also have 1.
Not me.
You know, it's funny. I would have thought I would have had a lot of explore, but I don't. I have none, which I think means it might say something about my state of mind.
Yeah.
Our best explorer has a 1.
You go
He's good
places, but you don't see them.
He's good at watching his feet, not much else around
I
him.
see it. I see the stuff, but I don't remember it.
Yes. Whoever has the highest explore out of all you should be the scout.
So between me and you, Sigmar, but huntsman, what does that require?
The highest hunting.
I have 1 hunting.
So do I.
I mean, do we really not trust an elf? He's an elf. He's good at scouting.
Yeah,
And
I think an elf will be
That's
better at
prejudice.
scouting.
Yes. My
So,
people
Lageron,
are
you can be the
short.
scout.
They like to eat.
My eyes happen to be really bad.
Oh.
Okay. Well, what does Lookout Man require?
Lookout Man is the highest awareness of the group.
I have a 2.
Oh.
I have a 2.
So maybe you should be that, and me and Sigmar should split Scout and Huntsman. I'll take Scout.
All right, I'll take huntsman.
Sir Bulgar will do it.
All right. So now that the traveling roles have been assigned, south of that on the second sheet, you're going to see patrons and sanctuaries. Everybody has nobody has any patrons to start with, but sanctuaries, you've got Laketown and Home.
Which are the same place.
Well, for the
And for
two
me.
brothers, they're the same place.
And
Lageron would specifically be the Woodland Realm, the only part of Mirkwood that's still wholly elven. And then, Ollo, what part of the Shire are you from? Just out of curiosity.
Can't hear you, Mitch.
What place could I be from?
Well, I mean, anywhere. Buckland, Mitchell Delving, one of the north, east, south, or west farthings.
Ooh, I really like Buckland. I like that name.
Yeah, it's a
Very
good name.
exciting. It's the one. It's the only part of the Shire that is east of the river, on the
Yeah.
border of between the river where hobbits can't swim in.
Yeah.
Out of character. That's where Bilbo's or Frodo's parents die going on a moonlight boat ride.
Oh, then yes.
And then to the east is the Old Forest. And everybody thinks Bucklanders are insane for living in such a treacherous place where, a bird could take your seed cake while you're walking down to your friend's house.
Yeah, I'll punch a bird.
Or a tree could snatch your berries.
Not my berries.
Or just very un-Hobbit-like things like a tree came out and took my doily. Yeah, because that's the biggest thing is everyone says adventures are very uncomfortable things that make you, as Bilbo says, makes you late to tea and soil your pantaloons.
I often do these things.
Yes. All right. So with that out of the way, let's open up this adventure. It's 2946 of the Third Age, and it has been 5 years since the Battle of Five Armies and the slaying of the Dragon Smog. The Kingdom Under the Mountain, Dale, and Esgaroth, the Laketown, have been rebuilt bigger and grander than ever, and the folk of the North enjoy a restful peace, having been in turmoil and fractured for so many years with the dragon and the orcs of the Misty Mountains. But now they're stronger than ever. Powerful rulers guide them to prosperity, and the strength of dragons and orcs and other ilk have been broken for the time being. And you currently are all in Laketown, having recently met each other and formed a bond of friendship with each other. You're sitting in one of the largest taverns near the center of the city by the merchant quays. And suddenly you see a very unpleasant sight. You see the very sternful face of Father Swallowtail coming in looking for his sons. What do you do?
Brother, I had hoped that this moment would not come when I was in my cups, as it were. Perhaps you should speak with Father first. If he sees me, he might immediately demand what I've done with all of his money and whether I've become the great healer that I set out to become.
Now, Ronen, I think you should be forthright with Father. Delaying things and hiding from the truth will only make things worse.
Well, I suppose.
Very well, come, stand beside me. Let us greet him together.
Suck it up, man.
Another glass of courage.
Well, to say, what are you two doing? The non-Swallowtail, because you see Father Swallowtail. He's scanning the bar. He's looking around. He knows he can find his sons here.
Yeah, I'm like waving with a pipe, and I'm like pointing at the brothers.
And his frantic head turns, looking around, and then he sees you, and he's like, the stern
What's
look.
about to ensue is slowly dawning on my face.
You see this very stern-looking man. I imagine him looking like Stefan Delane playing Stannis in Game of Thrones. Very stern, hard man. Having pulled the family up by their bootstraps after the destruction of Laketown 1 by the dragon. He's now got two, not just one, but two basically prodigal sons. He marches over and says, "Boys, what are you doing? Hanging around with these two outlanders. There's work to be done. It's been some time since you've got back from the south and learned all your lore. What has it helped us, Ronen?"
Father, it's good to see. Is this the first time I'm seeing him? That's what I thought.
I'll leave it up to you. Have you seen him since you got back?
Nope. I've only been back in town. In fact, I should have visited, and so that's why this is particularly bad.
So it's been like 3 months.
No, it's been like a few days. It's been like a bender. With my brother.
It takes a long time to walk up here from Roscoe. It takes at least a month to walk up there.
Yeah, I mean, I was planning to do it. Just needed to kind of like shake off the dust of the road and relax a little bit before trudging up there the long way. But so I will doff my hat to Father. Father, it is good to see you. I bring great tidings from the outland.
What is that?
I have traveled far, traveled widely, and I've learned a great many things. I've learned about the herbs of the forest, and the animals, and the trees, and the rivers, and the lakes, the birds. Come on, brother, say something.
A great many things, yes. For the past several days, Ronen has been regaling me of all the great things that he has learned and things that he has done. Things I do not think that he would ever see in a life in Laketown.
That's for sure.
Well then, if you're so worldly and well-traveled, I have heard rumor, and you will act upon these rumors, that the king under the mountain, his emissary to Laketown, is in some kind of turmoil and is willing to pay well for resolution of whatever is going on with him and his bearded kin. I do not know exactly what it is, but if you love your father and you don't want to attract his ire for wasting his time and precious coin on your studies, tomorrow you and your brother, and looks to the other two, and your friends, if you seek to bring them, will go to the emissary of the king under the mountain and try and see what his issue is and resolve it. I hear there is coin to be earned for it. You can keep that for yourself, but for our family and our business needs, being friends with the dwarves would not be a bad idea.
Yes, Father, I think this is, I think I'm perfectly suited to this. I think the two of us, with Sigmar's steadfastness and my mercurial intelligence, and whatever these two are good at, should bring around a swift resolution of this matter, and so bind us to the dwarves forever, to the great, what's the word, benefit of our family.
But Father, I've never left Laketown. You're certain you don't need any more helps with the boats or the fish?
Bah, there's enough lake men around here seeking jobs that you'll be fine. Go with your brother and your friends. You'll find the dwarf near the center of town, and he gives you the directions to the house where everyone knows where the emissary of the king under the mountain lives when he's doing business in Laketown. And he looks at you with a slight air of disappointment. Well, boys, I hope it is successful. I must be getting back. I have actual work to attend to. And he leaves the bar.
Yeah. So
Thank you, Father. Goodbye. Good night.
He doesn't say anything. He clearly hears you when you say goodbye, but he doesn't even look.
May the night spirits bless you and keep you well.
Ollo has this whole time since hearing that he might be on this adventure has been trying to figure out a way to get on a table, and he's finally got a stool up, and he hops on the table and looks like wistfully into the distance and says, "This is my moment in the sun," as he looks at the whole group.
Roll a song check.
A song.
Yeah, the first roll. Oh man! All right, so song is based off of heart.
You don't get any. You just roll song. You roll a d12 plus however many d6s.
Okay, cool.
Unless you spend a hope on it.
Yes,
No.
that's the
And
only
then
way to
it's
get
body.
the extra bonus. Yeah.
I got 15.
Huzzah.
Yeah. That, I mean, unless I say otherwise, for this game, all rolls are just at a standard 14 is successful. So that does. So you get up and you sing, and everyone, looking from their cups, the other lake men, and there's a couple travelers. You see kind of an exotic dressed Dorwinian and a very pale looking Gondorian. And everybody starts clapping in and dancing and singing with you. So on your character sheet, Mitch, if you look at song and you look to the far right, there's going to be the skill group with 3 dots that it's in. Fill in the first one because that is an advancement point.
Would that be under
Custom.
Okay,
Yes.
cool.
So basically how that works is anytime you make a skill roll, there's every group of skills has a category associated to its rights. The first bubble is if you just succeed at a roll in a group. The second bubble is if you have an great success, so 1-6 on the skill roll, or a regular success and a relevant trait, either a distinctive feature or specialty. And you can explain to me however you feel that you got that. And then the third bubble is both a great success and a relevance trait. And then beyond that, you can't earn any more attribute points in that skill group.
Excellent.
So you've got the first one. But yeah, everybody sings along with you. The beer is flowing, the pipe weed filling the upper rafters of the tavern. A very joyous evening.
And I'll plop down next to my my brother friends and be like, "Let's go."
No time like the present.
There was
So
a young maiden named Brock who suffered a tear in her frock. She sat down too fast. I can't remember the rest of it.
Also make another song check.
All right. Sorry. All right. singing. Arg, where's singing?
It's the first column, second to the last.
Ah, song. I was looking for singing.
Yeah.
Okay, I got an 8 and a 4, so it's 12. I think that's not
No
enough.
one, that people aren't as excited about your song as they are about Ollo's.
It was too slurred.
Too slurred. You're too drunk from dealing with your mean dad. So what are you doing? Are you? I mean, from the sound of it, sounds like you're going straight to the emissary's house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
All right,
loaded up on courage, so yeah.
Yeah, loaded up on courage, fear of a angry parent, and more liquid courage. You head across basically the center of Laketown, to a large, ornate-looking house. You can see that when this was built, it was clearly built for dwarves. The doors are kind of low. You see a lot of dwarven motifs, like very geometrical motifs carved into the sides. It's very impressive. Someone very important lives here. The emissary of the king under the mountain, Dane. What do? You're standing in front of the door.
Who should be the one to talk to this fellow? It seems very official. I've never been inside this building, although I've walked across it since I was a boy.
I think the drunk one should.
I'm happy. I'm very happy to speak with him. I'm quite happy to do it. If everybody agrees that I should do it.
Yeah, absolutely. You seem
quite-
the most cosmopolitan.
Yes, I know that word.
And I'm here to assist if you need it.
Excellent.
You have courtesy?
You're more on his level.
I do have courtesy, and I am pretty sharp-tongued.
Oh.
Okay, well, we'll just knock on the door.
So it's not late. It's probably like 7, 8 o'clock. So I mean, it's not the middle of the night, but it does take a few minutes, and eventually you hear some very heavy-handed footsteps come into the door, and you hear a lock open up. And the door opens up, and you see a youngish-looking dwarf. He looks like almost a young John Rhys Davies.
What, from the time travel or the universe traveling show?
No, from Lord of the Rings.
No, yeah, he was in that
reference.
too. Sliders. He was in Sliders too when he was young.
But
It was before Zach was born.
yeah,
Oh.
I look like I'm old, but I'm not.
Oh.
Zach was
think I might
mistaken for a middle-aged man, but he isn't.
I'm the youngest person in this group.
That's
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm 24.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh my God, I'm twice your age, almost.
So you hear this young John Rhys Davies character opens up the door, and he looks like, yes, how may I help you?
Good evening, young dwarf, sir. We are here to. We have heard that your master Dane has suffered a trouble that he wishes to have taken care of. This is my brother Sigmar. I am Ronen. And our father is, I think, as you know, the merchant in town, Swallowtail.
What's the father's first name?
I don't
between
think
you two?
anybody knows his first name, right? It's just a Swallowtail.
First name's father.
Yeah,
Stern Father Swallowtail.
Yeah.
Mr. Swallowtail to many people. Yeah. Swallowtail has sent us. We are his stout sons, and we're prepared to take on this duty.
The young dwarf kind of nods like, yes. My father has had some troubles. Please come in. He opens the door and he guides you to a small sitting room. He offers you some cold meats and some cheeses and bread and some ale locally. No, he offered you dwarven ale from the Lonely Mountain. I haven't had stuff like this. He specifically does not offer anything to Lagaron.
Oh,
I didn't figure he would.
He kind of gives you like a dirty look.
I'd
But,
give him a dirty look. Like, look, look, sir. This is a good and stoutly friend of mine, and he deserves to be served just as equally as the rest of us.
The small man speaks true. He is a great warrior, and not like his fellows.
How are you approaching this statement? Because I will say you'll have to make a roll for it, but it kind of just depends on how you're approaching the actual like semantics and tone of voice and things. It could be awe, it could be persuade, it could be courtesy.
Can I use lay persuade?
Sure.
Awesome. So what's my favorite skill? So what attribute do I roll that?
It's just the same, just persuade, just every bubble you have in it, you roll a feat die
Okay.
plus success die. Favored skills mean if you spend a point of hope,
Mhm.
you can get the higher favored bonus in all the skills related
Oh,
to it.
okay.
Also they're cheaper to upgrade later on. So that's the other perk.
Ba-dum-bum-bum. All right, so I got a great success.
What'd you get all together, like the number?
16.
You can see the young dwarf kind of grits his teeth as like, and then offers like a single mug of beer and like a piece of cheese to Lageron. There you go,
I
elf.
take it.
He looks
Thank
to
you.
the rest of you, specifically to the Lake brothers. It's like, I will get my father. You see him go open up a closed door and close it behind himself.
Yeah.
I sip
and-
this barley wine gingerly.
It's good. I mean, you're an elf, so you're probably used to wine from all over the world because the Elven King is very much a connoisseur.
Yeah.
From as far as the field as Dorwinian or even the Shire, you've probably had wines from the South Farthing. So a few minutes later, after you've enjoyed your snack, the door that the young John Rhys Davies looking dwarf entered in, you see an older dwarf come out. He's in very plain clothing. And you see he kind of like wipes his hands you can see they're like ink stained from just doing hours of paperwork just on the bottom of his tunic. It's like, Glowin, at your service and your families. And he bows a deep bow and his beard tickles his belt. What can I do for you?
It's what we can do
Standard
for
bow,
you.
actually, I believe.
Yeah. It is what we can do for you, Glowin. My father, Swallowtail, has told us that you have a problem that you would like looking into. And this little band, me and my brother, and these stout outlanders are prepared to go and take care of it for you. Because there's a long history between our two families, and it's the right thing to do.
I will have you make some kind of social roll. So awe, persuade,
I think courtesy.
courtesy.
I'm trying to be
Even
courteous.
riddle could be a good choice.
I'm going to do courtesy,
All right.
and that was a 16.
All right. So that is a success. So you will fill out the first bubble for that skill group. You go to the far right of courtesy. So Glowin, he kind of looks to you, he's like, we do have some troubles. A friend of mine, Balin, he was sent south, by the orders of King Dane, to bring a mighty necklace to the King of the Eagles in the Misty Mountains. He was heading south, and then he was going across the old forest road to the Eagles' area. A gift of friendship, and also a formal invitation to the celebration of 5 armies. That would since we have finally rebuilt our realms, would be a celebration of our victory over the orcs of Gundabad and the wargs many, many years ago. But it's been some time, and no one has heard from him. So, if you could not trouble you, especially since your father, old Mr. Swallowtail, a good man, shrewd merchant, a dwarf at heart, if you could look after my companion Balin, follow his route, and see what has happened to him, I fear the absolute worst.
Absolutely. We can leave in the morning. Is that right, my fellows?
Absolutely. This is
I'm ready to
the
leave
great
now.
Balin that came with the king who lives under the mountain.
Yes, it is that Balin and also this Glowin, who is another companion of Thorin's company.
Oh, wow. I am impressed and humbled.
Regardless of whether how impressed you are, he does not want to talk to you. He talks to men, and he talks to Ollo, and when he speaks to Ollo, he's got like almost a kind smile as remembering an old friend who might have been similar. But he shows you a map of the area, specifically just talking to the men in the Hobbit.
I remain aloof
pointing out
and unfazed.
Yeah, of a map of Wildland. He's pointing out the trail that they were taking. Oh, they were going down here, taking the river, running through the long marshes, and then to the road south of the mountains of Mirkwood. Cut across the width of the forest, and then head to the old ford, and then northward to Eagle's Eyrie, where the king of Eagles resides. I would say follow their trail and hopefully find some kind of clue of them or see if they're all right. I know it takes a long time to get there, but not this long.
The stories of the Battle of Five Armies say that Balin was a great warrior. Or is this to be true?
Yes, I was there with him. Me and my 13 companions and our 14th burglar stood behind the gates of Erebor and charged out when King Dane's men came upon the ranks of orcs and goblins with their mighty mattocks and stern male hauberks. I don't know how they did it, but they walked all the way here from the Iron Hills in a matter of days. Powerful, stern dwarves they are, and he shakes his forked beard with reverence.
It would be an honor to follow in his footsteps.
Yes. So I hope you can find him. There is a reward if you do find him and bring him back safely.
Indeed.
What is it? What's the reward?
He looks at you as like, well, Master Hobbit, the reward is each of you will get a small parcel of gold from King Dane's hoard.
And I think part of that reward, you should see my friend as equal. And not be so standoffish.
Make some other kind of social check. He's not had the best time with elves in the past, Glowin.
How can I use hope? Because this is important to me.
You can spend a point of hope to get. So how each of the columns of skills. Yeah, so each column of skills, the stat above it is what you get if you spend points. Point of hope to the roll. You get that skill as a bonus to the roll.
All right, so not dice, but just a bonus to the roll.
Yes.
Okay.
It's all the stats do is they provide bonuses if you spend hope.
All right. 22.
He looks sternly at Lagron. I know my people have had their issues in the past, but your halfling friend speaks true. I should not hold grudges of the past. I know your king is a changed man in these recent years and has willingly come to the aid of all free folk. But he looks very sternly at Lagron. I would not be surprised if Balin had become a guest of the Elven King once more.
That had crossed my mind. He has lost some wisdom in his years. So I understand your hesitancy, but I respect you and your kind.
Well, it is fair. I agree to this, and you show wisdom, Master Elf. I would say depart in the morning. It is a long journey.
That sounds fair enough. We can spend the night drinking.
Aye, good noble task. Well, if you forgive me, unless you have any other questions, forgive me, I must return to some paperwork.
Goodbye.
All right, then.
Everybody roll riddle as he returns to his study.
Ooh.
What did I do with it? There it is.
I didn't get it.
Great success at 20.
Ah.
See what everybody else got first.
I got 12, so probably not.
No,
11.
14.
What was it? Oh, doink, doink. I got I got a 2.
Especially now. But Ollo, you realize as he was talking about the what's going on, it sounded like there was another person with Balin as he was heading south. And
I'll go ahead.
he briefly mentioned a very prophetic dream that he had in passing as he was going back to his work about a friend of his dying in a pool of dark water.
I see. As we exit out, I'll like grab my buddies by the waist and try to pull them down to speak in a whisper.
That's a long way for me.
I almost fall, but I get
Me
down.
too.
Crouch down. I have to tell you something. On the way out, he spoke of some prophetic dream about a friend in water, like drowning. And he also seemed to hinted at that the people were pursuing one of their company might be a friend of his. I don't know dwarves very well, honestly. I don't know many people up here. Do you guys have any idea who that might be?
Might be something I've read somewhere, perhaps, or heard on the wind. I would like to make. I can't make. I don't have any lore skill because I never.
You can always try any skill even if you have no skill. You just roll a feat die. It's the D12.
Can I use hope?
Yeah, you can spend hope for a bonus. Just also remember that a Gandalf rune, so a 12 is an auto success.
Right, but not likely. So if I spend a hope, I get to have the attribute bonus.
Yes.
That would make it a lot easier to.
Would this be a lore roll?
Yes. So if somebody else has
Yes.
it,
I can do that.
yes, Mr. Elf, you've trodden these lands longer than any of us.
Not I.
Nor I by a long shot.
I got a 13.
No.
Didn't think that was high enough. And you have to spend a hope before you roll, don't you?
Yes.
You can spend it after.
Can you?
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to spend that hope. And that would knock me up to 20.
Okay. So you've heard rumor. You've heard about this gift to the Lord of Eagles through the grapevine through the elven quarter of Laketown. It is rumored that another member of Thorin's 13 dwarves was heading with Balin.
Oh.
Since they had both of them, had encountered the Lord of Eagles personally some years before. Well, yeah, it'd be about 6 years ago when the quest for Erebor took place.
That would be strange that he did not mention the other one. Kind of troubling, even.
Perhaps the eagles bore them aloft, and that's why they were able to make the journey in so short a time.
But then why would they not return?
That sounds silly.
Because they cannot return.
Well, tonight is for drinking,
Aye.
so let's have some tea and have some smokes.
Are you quite certain if we have a long journey tomorrow, we should be prepared for it? Perhaps some water and a hearty dinner would suit us better.
I agree
Oh,
with my
little
brother.
Sigmar.
We should
You
have a hearty dinner, and then we
you
should
have-
drink and smoke.
Yes, all that. You have much to learn, Sigmar.
Oh,
You need drink. You need smokes. That's
And
what keeps
song.
you company. Yes.
To
Oh,
gird
okay.
your girdiness.
Hope.
Forgive me, I do not know the ways of travelers, for I have not been a traveler before.
You will learn.
Don't worry.
A hobbit never misses a meal, and they have more meals than the rest of us.
Exactly. That's how I stay such fit.
Very well.
So where are you spending the night?
Do we go back to the tavern?
Yeah.
That's an option. I mean, there is an elven quarter. I mean, and then the Swallowtail brothers. You are from here, so there is a family home.
Oh, there's an elven quarter?
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
You wouldn't like it there.
Lagoran,
Not for you.
take us to this elven quarter.
I may have had enough to drink to actually do that at this point. So yeah, what the hell?
Yes.
Lead on.
So Lagoran leads on to the Elven Quarter. Let me get the Laketown guide. I will tell you exactly where that is. This one.
Oh, did I get to check for skill group on that lore check? Even though I had to spend a hope.
Oh yes, you'd still get the first bubble.
Bubble.
Bring shots, do black arrow.
Oh, and that would have been an excessive success too. I had a 6 on one of my D6s.
Okay, so the Elven Quarter is near the Glittering Gate, the dwarven part of the city. It is in the corner to the left of the main gate that connects the mainland to the new Laketown. And you get there. It's not Laketown's not the biggest place. So it probably takes like 15 minutes to walk across there. You know, navigating the bridges and the crowds and everything. But
While singing and dancing.
Pretty normal. It's after work. People are out drinking their ale. I mean, there's not much in terms of diversions in Laketown other than drinking. But as soon as you get to the Elven Quarter, it's within minutes of entering that 2 elves armed with great spears approach the company and very sternly just stop in their path. And one of them looks like, "What are you doing here?"
We're singing a song that the Hobbit taught us.
Yeah.
I tell them in Elven to lighten up. They're my guests.
Make some kind of social roll, courtesy, or persuade. They are.
Aw.
I mean, you're more than welcome here, but the rest of you, not so much.
What?
Can I awe him?
Yeah, you can. Roll for it.
I know a song about an elf maiden named Regina, but I do not think it's proper to sing it.
You know weird songs.
Rohan knows many strange things I do
suck.
not understand.
I obviously was too abrasive and didn't use any courtesy, and I got a 5. Or I tripped over something, and my awe failed miserably.
Well, let's fail forward.
So, the guardsmen of the Elven Quarter, they kind of look at you like around and it's like, you are of course welcome here, but your drunken kinsmen must not. They must leave. So this is
When is
Laketown.
that the rule? This is the town of men. The men should be welcome. I thought hobbits were welcome everywhere.
But this quarter of the city is under the direct control of the Elven King. He himself supplied the artisans to help rebuild this city of wood. Great many elven craftsmen have come here to work their trade, and though it has benefited both folks, this part of the city belongs to the elves.
This is true, but my stout brother helped to rebuild this city as well while I was away on my travels.
Yes, but we did not do it alone. The elves did help us greatly. Come, fellows, there is many other parts in Laketown we can party, but let us not tread heavily in the home of the elves. If they do not wish us here.
I go, it's not worth it.
Yeah, you're
Turn around
lost
and walk
elf.
away.
I sing like a queen. And I like turn and walk away.
You'll never know how my song ends.
You're gonna miss this. You're gonna miss this hard.
Why do my kinsmen have to be such snobs?
Perhaps it is important for the elves to have a place that feels uniquely theirs.
I mean, that was one person. Let's not judge a whole race by one person.
That was two.
Two
And
people.
I know them. They're my cousins.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're asses, really. Oh, sorry.
Well, when we get back, we should pull some prank on them or something. I don't know.
What sort of prank? What do you mean?
You'll think
I
of
don't
something.
know. Yeah, like whenever they have to use a stall or something, take away their leave so they can't wipe.
But then they
That'll
wouldn't be
show
able
'em.
to wipe. That would seem quite mean.
Yes, you see?
Didn't you know elf bottoms don't stink?
I wasn't aware of that.
It's a trick. All in good fun. They'll laugh by the end of it.
Mhm.
I'm not
When
sure I
you're
understand, but I
here.
will welcome seeing it, I suppose.
You'll see it.
Let's we should probably sing a body song while we're still here.
Body song?
Body, yeah. Baudy.
Oh, okay.
Naughty.
Oh, body.
I'm gonna roll a sing check
All right.
just for the fun of it. Oh wow. Actually, it wasn't horrible. It was a 12.
You sing a very vulgar song, and
A
The
little
elves
off
are-
key.
the rest of the elves in the Elven Quarter are not impressed. But
Body dwarven song.
where are you going now?
I guess back to the other tavern.
Back to the tavern. We're welcome there.
I don't think Ronen wants to go home.
Ooh, that sounds
I-
like it might be fun.
We should go to his house.
Yep.
Then you shall go without me, my friends, but do not worry. I
We
can
should
occupy
drag him
myself
along.
this evening.
Come now, Ronen. You've come all the way home, and you feel that you're not welcome there.
It's
Why
not-
come to Laketown if you do not wish to see Father?
You have to face your fears.
I've seen Father, and I do not wish to spend any more time with him until we have come back victorious from this task.
What if we come back, like, defeated?
We shall not come back in that case.
I'll come back. I don't know what you're planning on doing.
All right. So if you head back to the tavern, it's still, even though it's getting kind of late, it's still pretty lively there. A lot of the same people you saw when you left, when Father Swallowtail came, are still there, enjoying their cups, enjoying their pipe weed. The other foreign traders are still there, but unless you specifically want to do anything in specific, you have a fairly good night and then retire to. I mean, most of you are prosperous, so you can afford rooms for the whole party at the big tavern in the merchants district.
Nice.
It seems
Cool.
wise.
I just want to do something in the morning before we leave.
All right. So yeah, you wake up to the cock's crow. You can already hear the sound of, workmen and foots and very busy activity outside of the tavern in Laketown. What are you doing now that you've woken up?
So I'll return home I'll wake up before anybody else does, and I'll return home sort of at dawn, and I will don our family's brazen armor that has been in our family for generations. It's this long, like, coat of mail and a helmet. I imagine it is red for some reason, maybe because it's brazen, but
Yes,
Yeah.
the scale mail from the Easterlings.
oh yeah, cool. And I'll grab a bushel of flowers and sacred gathering herb things, and I'll wake up Ronen, who I guess is still at the tavern, right?
Yeah. Is he in a bed or is he like just slumped over at the table?
Yeah, where
from
is he?
last night?
Probably at the bar.
Having some breakfast ale.
Yeah, I
Cold
actually
food
didn't
from
sleep.
yesterday.
I didn't sleep.
You men of the lake drink like you don't want to live.
I mean, so do the elves of the woodland realm. That's all they do. Is
Right.
drink and hunt.
This is the first time I've had a drink in a place with a roof in as long as I can remember.
There were no roofs when you studied with Radagast?
In the forest, what need has one for a roof? The stars were our roof.
Houses, other people.
And the rain clouds.
There are regular people who live down there. They're very rough, gruff folk, but
Probably
Not as
lying.
rough and gruff as Radagast.
they like not being wet sometimes.
Seeing Sigmar walk in with obviously having gone home, I ask him impolitely, and you didn't bring any of your father's stash of wine?
Oh, I'm sorry. Should I have?
We
I
need
can go back.
fortification for the journey.
Yes, I'll return at once.
Good lad.
All right, I'll go back.
Since we're not
Oh, I
staying in
was-
town very long, I may as well just keep the pipeweed on the cart, and we'll take it with us, and we'll come,
Certainly.
we'll bring back whatever's left, and we'll sell it. I had planned to sell it and make a pretty penny here in Laketown, but we might need it.
Good smoke does raise the spirits. So is anybody gathering any supplies, other supplies, or are you?
Oh, I'm always ready to travel.
Yeah, I have all my stuff.
So the big question is, you know the route that Balin and the mystery dwarf took. How are you traversing it? Are you going on foot? Are you going to try and rent horses? Are you going to try and rent boats? Like, what's the actual game plan here?
I assume it's a mixture of land and water.
Yeah, whichever's fastest.
Well, let's see.
Let's see, that would be upriver, wouldn't it?
Downriver.
We could take
Oh.
the river down and then get off at the old forest road. No.
Yes, that would be. I'll just give it to you. Galoin did imply that Balin did take a boat.
This is just like the map of New York City, trying to traverse the subway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we should follow the route of Balin as much as possible. Perhaps then we'll get some clues as to his disappearance.
Wise. Therefore, brother, I feel that we're going to need a boat then. Do we have a boat?
What's everybody's standard of living?
Marshall?
Prosperous.
I mean, since most of the group is prosperous, you'd be able to, especially since two of them are lakemen, you'd be able to afford a boat large enough for the whole party to take, kind of like a little either swan-headed or dragon-headed kind of large rowboat skiff kind of thing. Because I mean, if you're going into the river running heads through the long marshes, but when it's in the long marshes, it can be a somewhat treacherous trail that you're following. So one of the kind of shallow bottom boats would probably be a lot more useful than renting a like almost like a sailing ship.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
But yeah, you're able to find one probably about 8-9-ish feet long.
It's very,
for
very
two-
small.
2 rowers and or 4 rowers and like a helmsman there's spots for.
That's a little taller than the elf. I think we need a bigger boat.
Yeah, a canoe is like 9 feet, isn't it?
Longer. I've been in a canoe. It was like 10, 12 feet.
Yeah.
Like a little compact car is almost 20 feet long.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, let's not worry about the feet of the boat, but what it can carry.
But you do find a smallish boat that you can since you're locals and you have the money for it, that you could afford to rent, and it's clearly big enough for all 4 of you, and would probably be shallow enough to get through if there's any more swampy parts of the river running in the long marshes.
Or would it be easier if we had two basically canoes?
Or 2 small boats. Perhaps 2 small boats would be better.
Then we wouldn't have to worry about bottoming out, and we could
It's
take
up
our
to
stuff.
you.
I like 2 small boats.
Yeah.
Does anybody have the boating?
Yes.
I mean, you realize that two almost like just paddle boats, really small boats, like the ones the Fellowship take when they leave Lothlorien. Boats like that size would probably be even more advantageous in the swampy terrain of the long marshes. There's a ton of little estuaries and little streams pouring into it, and it is fairly swampy. So you want as shallow as the bottom as possible.
Makes sense. Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we're agreed.
All right. So, well, who's traveling with who? So it's two boats. What's the grouping right now?
I'll be with Ronen as we're leaving.
Yes.
Be with my brother elf.
We're not even going to make a dent in the water, are we?
We are. I have strong muscles.
Well, I mean, like floating.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. We can probably just lay about on the boat and it'll carry us.
Yeah. We can put all the stuff in our boat because we don't weigh enough to really.
So as we're paddling out, when we get to the edge of the lake, I want to kind of stop and I'll take out my bushel of herbs and things, and it's a bunch of like incense and white flower petals, and I'll say, brother, you missed the funeral. It was some months ago, and it was a beautiful sight. But our mother, she's with the waves now, and I'll like sprinkle some flower petals behind us and leave a trail, as is custom. Offer some to you for you to do the same.
Yes. Thank you, brother. I wanted to mention something to Father, but you know how he is.
He's dealing with it in his own way.
As he deals with everything.
Yes, he hasn't changed since you left.
With a punch in the face.
You'd easier get wine from a stone, I think they say is the expression.
All right. It's a beautiful touch to the. How did your mother die? Did she die during the dragon attack?
I think so. I have a hatred of trolls, so I think it was troll related, and it probably had something. So our father's a merchant. I imagine perhaps he was on the road. It wouldn't be in the water, right?
I mean,
I think it was probably a caravan attack or something.
I mean, times were tough in the years between after the attack and when they finally just rebuilt the town this year.
Yeah, they would have suffered from a lot of attacks because people thought they couldn't defend themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Just old hungry trolls out of Mirkwood. But since we are starting a journey, if everyone wants to make a lore roll for bonus dice, so every of the subsets, journeys, encounters, combats, you have the chance to get bonus dice to use during that for skill checks. Everybody roll lore as you're journeying. So, just take into account if you looked at any maps or read books or talked to an old sailor, you could get some bonus dice to use in the actual traveling to find Balin.
23 with two Tangwars.
So that's 3 bonus dice.
Wow, I got a 9.
That's none.
Yeah, none for me.
Oh! I rolled a 1.
Altogether, you got 1.
Yeah, and I
So that is-
intended to use some hope, so that would have been a 9, so I have to burn a hope.
I wouldn't. You need at least a 14.
Okay.
So that's no bonus. So only Lagaron got bonus dice, and he got the most possible, 3.
Best roll I've done.
So you spend the better part of the day paddling along the western shore of the long lake.
Does that give me a second dot in vocation?
Yes, that any skill roll can count towards the filling out for the attribute, not attribute, advancement points. That's what they're called. So you spend most of the day paddling along the long lake, following kind of the western shore. The Swallowtail brothers are on one boat, and then Lagaron and Ollo, you're in another boat. Presumably, Lagaron is paddling, and you're kind of just enjoying the boat ride as a fun hobbit.
I'm singing the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, I'm singing the whole time.
But you see other ships going out fishing, heading towards the same place. But as you head to the southern shore of the long lake, you see a large waterfall that kind of pours out and continues southward with the river running. And you see some huts along the side, various men, lake men, milling about. Swallowtail brothers, you both know that this is the Stair of Girion. It's almost like a portage that the dwarves built before the coming of the dragon, of basically to get boats down from this incline where the waterfall is to the bulk of the river running. It hasn't seen much use in the last 5 years. People are still kind of wary about heading this direction. The slaying of the dragon really hasn't reached the ears of more farther flung merchants. But about 4 o'clock, you spent most of the day paddling, and you're now getting to this grouping of huts and along the side. The men there milling about, doing various work, helping other boats. They see you, and you can see a few of them kind of come up to the area where they expected to land. They wave back at Ronen. They kind of beckon him towards where they're standing. And you can kind of hear the dull crunching as your boat slide up onto the gravelly shore. And the men greet you like, "Oh, hail and well met. If you want to help, well, if you just want to step outside the boats, we can get you onto the portage, or are you looking to stay the night here? I know it's getting kind of late. I know the waters to the south will get somewhat treacherous at night."
I think that would be wise.
Make a riddle check.
One of them was called Balin. We have reason to suspect he was traveling with another dwarven companion, of whose name we do not know.
Not just riddle. I'd say any kind of social check is applicable at this point. The men here are a little. I don't want to say ornery, but they are a little kind of a little bit more closed to outsiders. They've spent a long time, basically relying on fishing, and they're a little isolated. The kind of reestablishment of Laketown and Dale and the Kingdom of the Mountain really hasn't affected them too much, so they're a little wary of that.
They may be more keen on other people's privacy so they don't scare off potential customers too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll roll persuade, and I'll spend a point of hope.
Okay.
I got an Eye of Sauron, that's an 11, and it's bad, right?
Eye of Sauron counts as 0.
Oh no! All right, so that's let's see, 11 plus 3, 14.
I mean, you can still pass with an Eye of Sauron if you got it high enough.
Yeah, does a 14 let me pass?
Did you add the 11?
No, I rolled a 6, a 5, and an Eye of Sauron.
Oh, you have 3. Okay.
They kind of talk amongst themselves. I'm like, yes, we did see 2 dwarves coming southward. They didn't talk much, and they paid handsomely for assistance down through the Stair of Girion. Why?
Oh, those were dwarves that took part in the Battle of the Five Armies, and they've been missing.
Oh, well, that is quite important. But we're more than welcome to help if you want to depart now. But we would not suggest leaving it and heading down through the long marshes at night. Treacherous landscape, all swampy, barren, and the thick fog that pours over the landscape. Stay with us. Sit by our fire. You're more than welcome.
Perhaps you could share in some of this pipeweed I have. It is the finest.
They kind of looking at us like, what is pipeweed?
Oh, you'll find out.
It'll be a good night.
It's very fortifying and
Robust.
yeah.
Makes you forget what you were going to say sometimes.
Yes.
And I'll tell you exploits of my adventures.
Ah,
Some of them are actually true.
Most of them are.
all right. So you spend the night with the men of the Stair of Girion. They are lake men. They speak your language. They just haven't been too keen on the little wary of the return of the king under the mountain and the king and Dale and Laketown being rebuilt because they saw the dragon burn the town. But they are kind folk. They offer you a nice, hearty, simple meal. One of their kinsmen brings a deer back as it starts to get dark. So that's a cause of great rejoicement amongst the men who dwell here. And they offer you some of that, and they have some simple bread and porridge. And they start singing their great songs about the kings of old. When it wasn't just the king of Dale, but a great Northman kingdom of Rovanion in these lands. And they sing the song of Fram, some of Frungar, the slayer of Scoth of the Worm. And is anybody else offering any kind of songs or stories or tales?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right.
I will tell of the starting adventure of Sol Bulgar as I left the Shire and fought several armed bandits on the road who thought I was easy pickings.
All right. Are you going to sing it? It depends what the role you want to make on how you're presenting the story.
So I want to use my trait storytelling to get an automatic success.
Okay. Yeah. So you do that, and then they're very impressed by your eloquence and the excitement of the story. And one of them is just like, "Oh, old Nurloff likes your story," and you kind of see this young lake man escorting this almost decrepit wraith-like elderly fellow over to the fire, and he's kind of just looking at you like, he's an old man, and he catches the tail end of your story. You see him like, he's like a senile old man, and he starts to like rhyme along with you, and it doesn't make any sense, but he keeps saying like, if you go south in the marshes, take heed, tread lightly and fear the gallow weed. And he's like clapping along, and he keeps saying that over and over and over again. And everyone's like, all right, Nurloff, are you having a good time? And then he looks at us like, Girion, just smash up his venison. He's got no teeth. And you see like another of the men just smash up some deer meat into like a paste and like hand it to him in a wooden bowl. And he's like, so kind of like eating, and he's this toothless old man. His head looks like the top of the lonely mountain with the snows melts. But he's just an all-around unpleasant-looking fellow. And he has, besides for his incoherent babbling, the only thing he keeps saying is, if you go south in the marshes, take heed, beware, and tread lightly and fear the gallow weed.
I ask someone else younger, what is this gallow weed he speaks of?
Someone just shrugs his like, I don't know. It's a like a folk song that we sing our children to help them sleep at night. And I was sung it as a child, and my father said he was sung it, and I'm assuming Nurloff, he was sung it as a child too, but can't remember any of the other lyrics.
Have you ever been into the marshes?
Oh, no. That place is terrifying and gross. Old stagnant pools. I know the streams that pour out of the Mirkwood, especially closer to the mountains, they just stink at all times of the year. Unpleasant place. Usually, the merchants, they will just avoid the long marshes entirely. They'll take boats to where it enters the marshes, and then there's the old town of Selduin. They'll pay a toll and head north on foot to here. Nasty place.
Yes.
Lagoron, do you think this man is older than you?
No. But this gallow weed frightens me a little bit. I've found some of the most important knowledge is found in children's songs, among men, anyway.
'Tis true, 'tis true. Let me consult my memory and see if I remember anything from my lessons on healing of such a weed.
It will be it's a very obscure reference. I'll say you need a 16 to pass.
All right, I got 12, 13, 16.
Radagast, being an old man, but not crazy and gross like Nerloff, he did mention when you're talking about plants that on the eastern border of Mirkwood that there are certain plants that eat the flesh of beasts, and they will almost sentient will grab onto things and pull them into waters or mud to help soften them a bit before they can be consumed.
That is
Specifically, these plants hold the taint of the shadow that poured out of the south.
Did he say anything about how we might avoid them if we were to ever come across them?
Paying attention, just keeping a lookout for. I mean, they don't move very fast, so you can tell them. You can see them when they come, but you just have to keep a keen eye out for them.
now that we are warned.
But the men, they share their meat, their porridge, their simple food. Not as flavorful as you would see in the Woodland Realm or in the Shire. But average, good, belly-warming food for the Swallowtail brothers.
I have the trait cooking. Can I add some spices and stuff like that to help out?
Yeah, you'd have a little salt and a little pepper maybe.
Hobbit paprika.
Just
I can find stuff in the woods with a short trip. I think I can find something, no problem, that can make
Get
the food
some
taste
Old
better.
Bay.
Yeah, and I have a nice frying pan that you can use.
What we really need.
I eat what I'm served.
You can saute it. But we can make it. I think I want to get together with the Hobbit, with Rollo, and try to make up something special for them using his knowledge and my frying pan and foraging skills.
We have your frying pan, my knowledge, and Sigmar's.
I have some matches.
Matches!
I can
We are
make
ready
the
to go.
fire hotter.
Lagron, you just stay there and look pretty.
That's my job.
So Ronen, do you have any relevant traits to find herbs?
Yeah, I have healing.
Oh, yeah, you managed to find some fragrant herbs. It takes you maybe 45 minutes, half an hour to find something. You probably could if you find something more, or just a greater quantity of herbs if you went deeper into the forest. But it's dinner time is now, and heading out into the forest at night is ill-advised. So you do bring. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I can also put some of the pipeweed in. It makes everything taste better.
It's all-purpose.
You can try, as someone who out of character smokes a lot of pipeweed. I mean, that's a gross idea, but sure, you can try. I mean, I guess bad seasoning, they wouldn't notice anything from no seasoning.
Just cook it up in a little butter, some fat, some deer fat.
Yeah, they have some venison tallow that they kind of jam your pipeweed in, and it's like, oh, this smells really nice.
No. Yeah, we know how to do it. Leave me and the Hobbit to it. We'll bring it to you later.
Yeah,
I'm afraid.
All right, so you bring herbs, and Ollo, you bring the culinary expertise, and you manage to make a nice a pasty marinade out of things you find for the venison that wasn't cooked, and it's gonna slather it over this big haunch of deer, and cook it to just the right temperature. Pretty
rare.
Sure. I mean, yeah. If someone wants to correct me, venison is a red meat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you cook it rare. It's dripping. It looks delicious.
We like it meaty and raw and bloody.
Wiggling. So you make a meal more impressive than anyone who lives amongst these huts at the Stair of Girion has ever seen. And they're wowed. The the little boy cooks so well.
What?
He must be such a wise child.
I am no child. I am a knight, Sir Bulgar. And then I'll like take out my lute and start singing. Way back in days of old, there was a legend told about a hero known as Sir Bulgar.
I think I know this
They all
one.
like your
Yeah.
song, but like one of the younger women in the group's like, you don't have any shoes on.
Who needs shoes on? My bottom of my feet are tough enough as is my heart.
But I worry you're gonna get cold. And she brings you some little like slippers made out of like
The
raw
heck
hide.
is this? Okay, this is weird. What is it?
You put it. It's just. It's so she like laughs like very nice, kind heart of this woman's like, oh, you're not such a wise child after all. They're shoes. You put them on your feet to keep them warm and safe.
No, that's. And I'm like walking around like when you see a dog with shoes on. I'm like,
You're like really high steps.
I'm like, what is this? How do you walk with these? This is madness. Get them off my feet. I'm gonna like
Kind
fall
of, oh,
over.
I'm sorry. And she takes him off like a baby, like on his back. Please just enjoy your stay.
I will. Thank you for the shoes, though. That was nice, but I don't know.
They look cute on you.
Why, thank you, Lagoran. That means a lot coming from you.
Bunny ears on them. It would be better.
I'm not the child. I'm a warrior of the Shire, a knight.
So, at this point, the lake men kind of start to pan out. Some of the old sods kind of stick around and trade tales and legends, but most of the people at this point, it's getting late and they enjoyed your food and they're starting to go to bed because typically they wake up when the sun comes up. So staying up, pretty longer when the sun stays up is kind of late for them. So everyone's kind of panning out. There's a few old salts who want to talk to you, and eventually you see Nerloff after, he stops reciting his little rhyme. He just puts his head and like passed out like an old man in his chair on his little like stump he's sitting on that they have out. What are you all doing now?
I'm going to go to sleep since I did not sleep the previous night. A man should sleep occasionally, and out under a roof of stars is better than in a swinging town with many taverns. So I will make my bed by the fire and close my eyes and dream.
I'm certainly a little uncomfortable around these people, so yeah. I'm going to avoid them by going to sleep.
Try to charm my way into someone's tent just to like sleep or house, whatever they have set up here.
That woman,
That'll work.
she thinks you're a child.
Yeah.
She may get a rude awakening.
And I was like, oh, little boy. Yes, I know it can be quite scary. If the nighttime, please come lay down.
Excellent. Do you have a couch I can sleep on, or maybe you can lend me your bed for the night and you can sleep elsewhere?
Yeah, that's a misdeed. That sounds pretty rude. I'm going to say if you actually tell her, that's going to be 1 point of shadow for lying personally or subtle manipulation.
I'll
That
take
was a
it.
very subtle.
Bad boy.
Well, you take a point of shadow as you basically tell this woman to get out. She's like, oh, I've got some fur from the venison and I'll put that on the dirt and sleep there.
All right, thank you.
You're a young little boy. You need your rest.
I'm glad we weren't there for that one.
And she's now sleeping on the floor, and you now feel bad. Or you might not feel bad, but you take the shadow nonetheless.
Yeah.
I'm realizing if Sigmar spent his whole life in Laketown, he probably doesn't really know what solid ground is like. Because all of Laketown is on stilts, right?
Yeah.
Well, you would have had to go on solid ground at some point because the first Laketown was burnt down 5 years ago by the dragon. So unless you're like 4 years old.
Maybe.
All right, so I've had some experience, but it's still probably new to me.
You may not have
like
ever slept on solid ground.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, you can't hear the water. It's so strange.
I mean, you probably could. You're still like right next to
Yeah, we're still by the
Long Lake.
river-ish.
It's the southern shore of it.
Probably have your like white noise machine on.
Yeah.
You can hear the giant waterfall.
Yeah, it's kind of that is kind of this big rushing throughout the night. A little more soothing than my growl, but it is a very relaxing sound as the waters of the long lake pour over this large embankment into the river running as it kind of pours. You can see the stars in the sky kind of illuminating your potential path if you look off this cliff, and you can kind of see the stars reflecting against the swampy lands in the distance that do lie within the forest of Mirkwood. But then you soothe off to sleep. Ollo, you kind of sneak up to the top of this very defensible little hill, and it's dry. It's not muddy up here. Got a good view of the surrounding area. There's really only one way up it, this slow embanking part. The steep sides around it are too crumbly and muddy to really climb up. So if it's feasible that something does attack you, that they're going to only have one way up.
Oh, and I got a 16 for my stealth.
Okay, so that's, yeah, definitely. If there's anything around, it does not see you. Also, if you have fill out your bubble if you haven't had any points for that skill group. So you found a nice place to rest for the night. What are y'all doing?
How low are the trees here? I'm imagining it's like mangrove forest kind of, where there's like this thick canopy of like knotted trees come together, and then it's just kind of like mostly water.
Yeah, a bulk of the trees like that. There are a lot of the more older growth, I guess the term would be typical forest trees of Mirkwood that kind of block out a lot of the sunlight. But outside of what you can clearly tell is the river running where it's the deepest, you've got these kind of short, kind of spindly mangrove looking trees.
I want to try to fish.
All right.
Take out my simple like stick with a line and just cast it in and hang out for a bit.
All right. So you have the fishing trait, right?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, yes.
About half an hour later, I'm assuming the other guys are doing other stuff like getting wood, setting up a fire.
Useful things.
I'm trying to catch sight of the following.
Make another search check.
And I have Mirkwood lore.
You could invoke the trait for an automatic success. Considering that you're Mirkwood lore and you're a Mirkwood elf in Mirkwood.
Yes.
So get to that in a second. The fishing goes well. You pull out a very dark colored fish about yay long.
This big.
Yes, like a lot of the other animals in Mirkwood, they have been tainted. And they're this very dark color, almost like purple.
Does it look unhealthy or poisonous?
No, it looks, besides for its off color, it's very active, like flopping around trying to, when you pull a fish out of the water on a hook in its mouth, it's very aggressively trying to flop around and get back into the water. But to your knowledge, yeah, he looks healthy enough to be edible.
Anybody see me do this? Ollo, you know about food and fish, right?
Ollo is stealthing, trying to
you're hiding.
His elven brother hunt down this person.
All right, you guys are doing relevant things. All right.
So while you're doing that, actually I'm curious, what's Ronen doing? Been a little quiet there.
Well, let's see. I'm probably surveying the area and looking for signs of any foul beast that might be approaching. I might be looking at tracks and things too.
Make an explorer search.
Okay, that's not my strong suit. Nora's hunting. I could insight or travel, but not really those things. Awareness, perhaps?
Yeah, do that.
All right. Okay, yeah, no, I continue with my terrible rolling, and I get an 11.
There's a lot of birds around here. You hear them, can't really see them.
Caw.
But Lagaron and Ollo, you do notice that, in the kind of the periphery of your vision, making an attempt to watch you are 4 figures, humanoid shapes, looking in a direction. They all have bows. What do you do?
Gonna creep up slowly
Yeah.
but surely.
Make a stealth check, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make stealth if you want to try and creep up on them.
Can I invoke my trait, small folk?
Yes. They're definitely big folk. Lagaron, how'd you do?
And
Well, they clearly see you. They do not see Ollo, but you both get close enough to tell that these are elves. They're very sternly watching you. They don't see Ollo because he's, he doesn't have to crouch. He's the height of the bushes, and when he gets in the water, it's at like waist deep.
so he's good at ambushes because he am the bush.
Yeah.
But this big group of elves, they see you, Lagaron, and they, undraw their bows. They're ready to go, and they approach you. And you see the who's clearly the leader. He bows deeply. What are you doing in these parts of the king's realm? No one travels these lands.
We are looking for a lost dwarf. I don't know. How long ago did he say this was that they left?
Like a weekish.
It would have been 7 day back. Have you seen sign of 2, perhaps, dwarves, heroes of the war?
So this is going to start an encounter, a formal social engagement. This is pretty important. So how this works is everybody can make an insight check for bonus dice. They don't see Ollo as of now, but they do see the 2 men on top of the hill.
I wave to them.
I wave back.
You clearly see now that there's 4 figures that are talking to, or at least there's 4 figures, and one of them is talking to Lagaron, and they are elves, clearly.
Okay, I'm going to burn a hope for mine. Insight, you say?
Yes.
I'm successful.
I'll also burn a hope. Can I spend a fellowship point to get the hope back?
Ask the group.
What do you guys think?
You may have 1.
All right.
Just this one.
Feel free
Fair
to
enough.
be loose with the fellowship points, because those do replenish every session.
But hope points do not.
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
I
succeeded anyway. I got an 18.
Any 6s?
Nope, but I got a Gandalf.
Ooh, so make sure that does kind of success for your
Yeah, I marked it.
achievement points. So you get Ronen, you get 1 bonus dice to use while talking to this band of elves.
I got a great success with that.
Oh wait, I got 16 plus 8, so I got 24 if that matters. 22.
Any 6s amongst that or no?
Nope.
Still. So still 1 die. Basically for any of the preliminary checks, it's regular successes 1 die, great successes 2, extraordinary, which is 2 6s, is 3 dice.
So he could get 2 dice from me?
Well, you could use the dice are for each individual person.
You mark it on your sheet.
Okay.
So I got a 20, but no 6s. Is that just a regular success?
Yeah, it's just a regular success.
All right, so that's 1 extra die.
Yeah. And so basically how encounters work is it'll never really deter you from, they'll never say like, no, you completely mess this up, it derailed what's going on. But depending on how well or bad you do, they might give you some bonus things if you do really well. If you do really bad, it might come at a cost. Like they'll have their own circumstances or things they want to ask from you. And also there's a limit to the amount of failures you can make. Currently, it is valor, whoever the highest valor in the group, so I think it's 2.
Yeah.
There is a -1 for hobbits, so they currently have not seen Ollo. But Lagaron, you know the speaker. This is Galleon. This was the king. He was formerly the king's butler, but his drunkenness some years in the past, which led to the escape of 13 prisoners under mysterious circumstances, gave him a demotion to, leading patrols to the worst parts of the king's realm.
The equivalent of being like stationed in Siberia.
Yeah. He had a nice cushy job that let him just drink in the basement when he wasn't on duty, but he drank too much, and I mean that's what he blames, that the company of dwarves escaped from the dungeons.
Boromir being one of them.
But how are you approaching them? Are you all coming together? What's the approach to this?
Open and as not trying to hide anything, kind of the typical "you're an elf, I'm an elf, we're elves." So
I think Ollo will kind of look at Lagoran like from behind the elves and be like, as he like has his sword in his hand.
I'm not stealthy at all. So I'm going to I'm standing kind of up the hill. I'm just going to take my longbow and like put it back on my back as like a clear sign that I'm giving up like a really good shooting perspective, and to start to come down the hill unarmed.
Yeah, I'll do the same. I'll pick up my bow and bring my sword, but not, put them to the side and follow.
Yeah, and I'll approach Lagoran as if I just peed and I'm pulling up my pants, like, oh man, that was whew. I like clap him on the back.
So the men, they seem indifferent about. Galleon clearly has a slight look of ire when he sees Ollo, being familiar with hobbits in not the fondest sense. So that is, now you have 1 failure before he makes his judgment on the group.
Oh no.
So
Good job, Ollo.
Hello.
I would, Lagaron, since you were the first approach, I would make courtesy or persuade.
I believe in you, buddy.
Okay. I think I'm gonna go with persuade. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna spend a happy.
A happy.
Yeah.
You want to take a fellowship point? I vote you can have it.
I can use a fellowship point to add my attribute to this roll.
Yeah, they basically function as group hope.
You may have it.
And I'm going to use one of my bonus dice.
All right.
Can I use them both?
Yes, you can use. You can never roll more than 6 dice on any check. So as long as
that would, if I use both, it'll be 2.
I would use them then. You don't want to mess up at this point.
Okay, that's good.
I believe in you.
Okay, so
God, this is tense.
I know.
25.
Nice.
So, even with the appearance of the Hobbit, the Galleon seems generally happy in the way an elf can be to see one of his other, kinsmen in such a desolate place. Yes, you asked about 2 dwarves. We had followed them as soon as they'd entered the forest. That was some days ago, and we tracked them, and they were none the wiser. But one night, at their camp, the next morning they were gone. then he's speaking. They're all speaking in Sindarin, kind of discussing, like the other. His commander's like, I don't know what happened to them. Like I was watching and they were gone. It's like, yes. And then Gallian looks to you and back in the common tongue. He's like, I assumed, and my companions assumed that they had caught wind of us trailing them and they had snuck off in the night, which I was impressive for a dwarf being so loud in their footfalls. I would expect to hear splashing and sploshing as they walk through the water. Yes. Breathing also.
So whereabout was this?
Make another check.
Persuade.
Everybody else wants to. Really, you could make any sort of awe, persuade, courtesy, even riddle, depending on how you want to phrase asking them. It's really up to you.
Let's go riddle, and I'm going to have to spend another point. I'm going to spend one of my own.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. Phew. $23.
Yes. The last time we saw them, and he kind of gives you vague directions about a day's travel from here. That was their last campsite. We saw them set up and light a fire, and they were smoking, and they had a little satchel, a little barrel of ale they were drinking from. And after they went to bed and the fire died, we saw nothing more of them. He gives you pretty detailed instructions on how to get to the last place they saw them.
I thank him kindly, bow deeply, and ask him if he'll. I ask Ronen, would you mind sharing pipeweed?
Certainly. Oh, by the way, I have a question. Radagast, was he in Mirkwood?
Very southern Mirkwood, the southwest part of the forest.
Okay, so I know Mirkwood a little bit, but not this part. Okay, cool.
Yeah, you probably just for safety, you wouldn't have taken a direct route back to Laketown because that's almost a death sentence trying to go through the heart of Mirkwood. So you probably would have gone around the forest.
I'll say yes. I'm acquainted with the honor of the elves of Mirkwood. I would be happy to share a bowl with them.
They seem confused. They don't really know what this is, but out of courtesy, one of their kinsfolk was quite polite introducing you, even with the disgust of being around a halfling. I'll try it, and
I demonstrate. You want to keep it in, and then kind of let it all out. There you go. Good.
They all try, and they all have this similar hacking cough, and they're like, not for us, but
that's good.
We offer this, and one of them, Gallian, pulls out a very nice looking wineskin from the king's personal cellars, and he offers you some.
Don't mind if I do.
Pass it around.
Is that what he offers? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Props.
Is that cream sherry?
It is Delaforce Port. Tawny Port.
Probably something hearty and strong. To keep the belly warm and to keep the bad thoughts away from being in a not so pleasant part of the forest.
A fortified port. It's like a fortified wine, yeah. Port.
Honeyed.
So
burns a little bit.
They drink for a good portion. The sun goes down, but eventually Gallian stands up and he bows like, we must be on our way. We have many miles to patrol, and I do not want to upset the Elven King anymore.
I understand that. Thank you for your help. You've been most kind.
Yes. He leaves a little bit of bread with you, and they go down the non-steep part of the little hill you camped out on and kind of disappear into the darkness.
I look at the rest. I snuck up on an elf.
That could have gone so poorly.
Yeah.
They seem friendly enough.
Not that one. Yeah. They used to be with the king's favorite. He's now the king's least favorite, and he's got a chip on his shoulder.
Oh, well, he seemed perfectly amicable to me. He even shared with us some of his wine.
He must have been drunk.
Sigmar, he's a butt.
He really doesn't like these guys.
Yeah.
Seems
That's
I have
why
much to
he's a-
understand about elves.
Yeah.
Much
But
to
he's a
understand
butt.
about the world, brother. Do not worry.
If anyone doesn't like a hobbit, they're butts. That's all you need to know.
I think he may be the only one other than the king himself.
Butts.
Well, we're
So-
changing that little by little, so that's a good thing.
So is anybody taking watches, or what's? It's getting pretty late now.
Yeah, I want to take a watch.
I
Okay.
assume the campsite is far enough away that we couldn't go there before nightfall.
No, Gallant said it would take about a day from your current position to walk there, or boat.
Right.
It's getting. You're going about the same pace because now it's pretty dense and off the river, running in one of the little, not estuaries, but one of the little streams that feed into it.
Feeder stream.
That's probably the term. But Ronen is taking first watch.
I'll do the elf thing. Are there any trees up here I can perch in and just kind of lounge, keep eye out?
Yes, there's a large oak tree that has somehow taken root in one of the drier patches, probably like 30 feet away.
It is
Okay.
true for Sir Elf. If you lack the need for sleep, perhaps I should sleep and you should take watch.
You should. You should sleep. I'll elf dream, as
I'm like
you
already
call
asleep.
it.
I'll keep you company some parts of the night, good elf.
Yeah, while Lageron's up in the tree, at some point during the night, I want to go and like shout up to him, say, Lageron, I wish some of your wisdom. I'm perplexed. The elves, they use bows, and yet they seem so at home in this forest of tangled roots and vines. It seems that it would be toxic to archery. And so many things to obscure your vision and catch your arrow. How is it that elves can function in such a place?
What kind of bow do you have?
Oh, it's a simple short bow, like the one my father used.
Well, that is required. We don't use great bows. Great bows get in the way. There's very little reason to even have one. It's a little more damaging. Your range is a little better, but in the forest does you no good, like you have just noticed. But I pull my bow out and I show him a few tricks on how to angle the bow when you're in tangles and briars and stuff, so you can still get your shot off.
Oh, I see. So the tangles and briars are actually not an impediment if you angle it correctly. In fact, they could even be a boon.
That is correct. And I pop it. You probably can't. Being a human, you probably couldn't see. We'll do more of this in the morning. I'll show you a few tricks.
I would like that. Doesn't Ronen have a great bow?
I do. Stop shouting up into the trees in the middle of the night in a dark forest, brother.
Oh, I'm sorry, brother. Did I wake you?
No, but you may have woken much around us that does not wish to be woken.
So who's awake right now? It's probably.
I'm awake now.
Yeah. You probably see Ollo behind Sigmar with like his sword out, like looking at Lageron.
You do this with everybody?
So, well, since it seems everyone's awake now, everybody make an awareness check. It's a regular one.
Can I use my trait?
Which one?
Keen-eyed?
Yeah.
I have elven knives that I took literally from elves.
Failed it. God, I'm terrible today.
19.
Yeah, failed it.
Oh, and it's a special success. I
All
got
right,
one
so you'd
six.
be able to fill out the second bubble in that skill group, or the first one if you haven't done any yet.
Ooh, there it is. That'll be a 2.
I'm a level 2 hobbit now.
So the two men are a little too groggy to really see anything, but Lageron and Ollo, you kind of see about maybe 30, 40 feet away from your campsite, kind of in the water. You see like almost these dancing lights around a bush.
Will-o-wisp.
Yeah, you describe them as they're almost will-o-wisp like, kind of very faint light, but it's dark enough that it's very obvious. They're the only really source of light other than your campfire. The stars and the moon are a bit obstructed from the more dense Mirkwood trees and foliage.
Would a Mirkwood lore check help here?
Mirkwood lore, I will just tell you this, because if you want to invoke the trait, there's probably something over there.
Ooh, I'll start stealthing my way over there.
I do the same.
Let's say it's a regular success. So you need at least a 14 to stealth over there.
So can I use small folk, or is this my size?
Yeah, small folk would count.
Cool.
I failed.
So Ollo, you're hidden. You're going from bush to bush, kind of. The splashing you're making as you try to walk through this waist deep water is very such.
Metal Gear Solid.
Later on, you kind of make a more definite plop, 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 as it's like knee deep, mid calf deep at points.
I'm not used to the mud actually sticking to my feet. Yeah, because I can walk on top of snow.
Yeah, Ollo looks back like, why aren't you walking on water? It's like, thought elves.
Hey,
all
snow
elves
is solid water. It's different.
Just assume all elves just walk on water.
So,
It's the taint.
Yeah. Taint pulls you down.
Everybody make an awareness check again.
I'll use Keen-Eyed if that's okay again.
2.
I'm failed again.
So it's very fitting because Ollo Bulger is still hidden. And as you get close, Lagaron, you hear a horrible grunting sound, guttural, as these lights kind of dissipate and the bush they were over rises about 9 feet up, and underneath the bush, which was it was wearing it as a hat, is a stone troll. And it is surprising you, since everybody except one person failed their awareness check. So only Ollo will be able to make a battle check for bonus dice and make an opening shot if you have a bow or something.
Right, I do have a bow.
So make your battle check for bonus dice first.
Cool. Probably not going to be anything. We'll see.
I'm going to have to use my sword on this one, aren't I?
Yeah, I don't get any bonus dice.
Too close to him.
You can make one opening shot since you were not surprised by it.
All right.
You would need a 17 to hit it.
Woo. Actually, can I because I'm more worried about my friend getting smacked without knowing. Is there a way I can gain its attention? I'm like, hey, you big ugly elf thing.
You called it an elf? I'm not sure which one of us is going to be more offended.
I'll let you draw its attention if you want to give up your opening shot and make an awe check.
Yes. Can I use I don't know if this would be relevant, but true-hearted as kind of my trait in this, because I don't know if that would.
You know what? Yeah, because this is a very, very brave, impressive thing you're doing. So it's about, you see it raising its, and the two brothers can see this troll raising this big, rotten wooden branch, almost it's a club, about to smack down on Lagaron. But you see its attention is kind of drawn to your Hobbit companion. It starts to trudge over towards him, big club in hand. So since that's out of the way and the troll is going first, what stance is everything? So basically how combat works in this game is you pick one of 4 stances. Forward, which you fight aggressively, which it's the easiest to hit monsters, but also be hit. And then also, if you want to forfeit your attack, you can awe a creature and try and impress it with a song or some kind of awe check to lower its hate points, which is what power monster abilities. There's open, which is you're not really focusing on attack or defense, prioritizing. So you need a 9 plus the monster's parry to hit them, but also the same thing is 9 plus your parry for them to hit you. There's defensive, which is, like the name implies, you're fighting very defensively. So you need a 12 plus parry to hit or be hit. And that also, in that stance, you can spend points of hope to have monster attacks directed towards you. And then there's rearward, which lets you shoot bows. Since there was only one monster, most of the group would be able to take rearward if you wanted to and shoot it. But that's just an option.
Where are these combat things? Are they in the
page-wise? They're in the core book. Get you a page number if anyone wants to look.
I'll take rearward because I think I'm going to shoot it with my bow.
Okay. They are on. Yeah, all this important. Okay, yeah, rearward starts on page 175 is all the combat stuff.
Okay, excellent. Thanks.
Zach can guide you through it as well.
Yeah. So rearward, so you're going to be staying back. Probably you wouldn't have to go, so you stay on the hill and shoot. What's everybody else doing?
I'm too close to it to take a rearward right now, aren't I?
You could run back. It's currently its attention is focused on Ollo, so he's the only one who can't really back out and shoot it because it's gunning for him.
Yeah, I want to stay with Ollo. I want to do forward.
You do forward.
I'm gonna have to go forward. I'm gonna have to do close.
I'll do defensive.
Cool.
Okay, you're gonna do defensive. So the monster, the troll is going first, and he's going to strike down at Ollo with his big club. What's your parry, Ollo?
My parry, since he is bigger than me, is an 11.
Ooh, so I need 23 to hit you. Yeah, no, he swings and either you're able to dodge out of the way or he just smacks the water and this icky black mud comes up from the bottom. I mean, normally Scott especially would know that trolls can talk. Trolls are intelligent to a certain degree, but he's just grunting like almost an animal trying to make words.
Oh.
And Scott, you also notice he's pretty beat up looking. You notice that he has a large wound on his left hip, and he looks almost malnourished. What the food is not probably the best here, so you have at least you might have that advantage on this creature right now. All right, so monster turn is out of the way. So who took forward?
I did.
So you would be going next. So you both took forward. Who is the highest wits?
Not me.
I have 9.
I have 2.
So then, Lagaron, you would. What's your basic wit? Sorry.
Base is 7.
Is that still higher?
Yes.
So it'd be Lagaron and then Sigmar.
Are trolls like of the shadow just no discussion whatsoever evil?
Yes.
Okay.
They are servants of shadow. It is a lot of with a lot of the allegiances of the dark creatures. It is a very stark black and white good evil.
Okay.
So we can't offer him medical treatment, probably.
No.
Even if you want to try, he can barely form words. Something's obviously wrong with this troll.
You hit like an elf.
I mean, more so than feeling better, his wounds is you guys are a good looking meal to him right now.
Especially this plump hobbit.
Lagaron, so basically how attack works is you would roll, like all skill checks, the D12 and then D6s for however many points of skill you have. And you said you're in forward, so you would need an 11 to hit the troll.
An 11?
Yes.
That's all?
Yes.
I think I actually did that. No, I didn't.
Okay. And like all regular skill checks, Gandalf Rune is auto success, and if just the D12 is higher than your weapon's edge, tell me, because that is a piercing blow potentially.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you miss, then it's on to Sigmar.
All right. Yeah, we're pretty close, so I'll attack with my sword.
Okay.
So I roll sword.
Yes.
All right. All right, let's see. I got a 6 and a d6, and that's 11, 14.
So, what's your? Oh, yeah, so yeah, that definitely hits. You still need an 11. Did you beat your edge on the d12?
A d12, no.
Okay, but you did get a 6, so that's a great success. So you do the weapons damage plus your character damage.
Cool.
Oh,
So how much is that altogether?
Let's see. Is it injury? Is that the weapon
That's
damage?
just no. There's a specific. It's damage.
Yeah.
To be the first one.
For sword.
Yeah.
Oh, damage 5.
Okay.
That's the sword's damage, and you probably have it's usually equal to your body.
Yeah. Basic body is your
Yeah.
character damage.
Basic
so you
body
do,
is 6, so that's 11.
Yes. So you do 11 damage to the troll, and it kind of as it you like slash at it, probably its waist or its legs, because this thing is still like 9 feet tall.
Wow.
So then Ollo, move down to the next person.
Yeah, I'm gonna run forward and try to slash at its dangly bits.
All right, since you're in defensive, you would need a 17 to hit it.
All right. I do not.
All right.
I slash wildly. The dangly bits are moving too fast.
And then Ronen, you're in rearward, so you're shooting it from the top of the hill. You'd need a 17 to hit it with your bow because it's 12 plus parry for shooting attacks too.
Okay. I got 2 6s and a 4. May I use a may I use a fellowship point?
I'm good with it.
Yeah.
We got 3 left.
Okay, so that would add body, so that would add 4. So
You got 2 6s.
yeah.
So that's weapon damage plus 2 times character damage.
Okay,
Nice.
what's character range damage? Because my body's 4.
It's the same thing at character creation. There's generic virtues you can get that will adjust either melee or range damage separately. Hence why there's 2 bubbles. Later
Okay.
on, they can become different.
So range damage is 4, and my weapon damage is 7. Edge is 10, injury 16.
Did you beat your edge on the D12?
On the D12? No, I got a 4 on the D12.
Okay. So yeah, so you do 8.
So
it's
7
got 2
plus 8, I guess.
Yeah.
Did you say double my range damage?
Yeah. Double damage on 2 6s for an attack roll.
And then the 7 for the bow itself.
Yes.
Okay, so that would be 15.
Wow.
You can't
Yeah, you
use a
hit it.
bow. You can't use a long bow in the forest, brother.
Lets out this as it tries to pull out the arrow that's now in its shoulder. So that would be the end of the turn. So what stance is at the top of every turn, you can change your stance throughout the fight, but the troll is still going first.
Does he still who looks like the troll is most angry at?
He's still on you.
Okay, cool.
He made
Then
that motion to call him out.
yeah, I will continue with defensive.
I'll stay forward.
Your mother smells of elderberries.
Does it reduce my attacking if I step back and do ranged?
Yeah, it would be a 12 plus the monster's parry, so 17 to hit him.
But it's not going to cause me not to be able to attack this round.
No, you'd still be able to attack.
I'll do that.
Okay.
I'd drop my sheath sword, drop the shield. Don't want to lose the sword.
All right. So then, Ronen, are you still shooting at it?
Well, I could run down on with my sword, but I've only got 1 die with the sword, so I don't know if that offsets how much easier it'll be to hit him. I'll have to get a 12 if I take forward.
You take forward, you'd need 11. 6 plus the monster's parry.
So I think statistically that's about the same.
Yeah.
So
Keep
I'll
in mind that it also is easier for them to hit you.
Well, we don't want that.
So you have your good and faithful hobbit.
Okay. So troll is striking down at their hobbit. What did you say your parry was? 9 with your small folk?
No, it's an 11.
11, so I need a 23 to hit you. No, he does not. He swing. You can feel leaves falling off you. He like tries to swing down. Ollo, whoa, sidesteps and then just hits the base of a tree and it just shakes all the leaves out of it. So then it would be whoever's in forward.
That's
so
me.
I think it's just Sigmar.
Just
so then
me.
you'd be going.
Yeah, I'm gonna aim for his for like the wounded area on his side.
Okay.
All right, that's 14.
That hits.
All
How many
right,
sixes, or did you
advantage.
beat your edge?
On the D12, no.
All right. So how much damage do you do?
Oh, it's the same amount. 11.
11? Okay, that's...
You are wounded by the heroes of yesteryear. Now you are wounded by the heroes of tomorrow.
Don't you mean today?
We'll get there.
It'll be
Okay.
tomorrow,
We're
soon
not
enough.
heroes yet.
All right, and then it would be Ollo in defensive.
All right, I will try to hit them dangly bits again.
What is
With a
that?
17
That's right on the mark.
in my 12 is a 10.
So that beats your edge.
Yeah.
You might have got. What's the? Before we get to the damage, what's the injury of your sword?
14.
14. Okay, so you might have actually really gotten him good in the dongle bits. So you were able to deliver a killing blow to this creature. What does this look like?
So you see this hobbit, like, as this thing swinging about his sword, jump onto its knee and then jump up with his sword and just plunges it right into his face. As I'm like, ah!
So this thing is like clawing at its face. It shakes and you fall to the ground and kind of like the scene that the Minds of Moria scene. It kind of just wobbles around, almost drunken, and then just falls face first into the mud, kind of splashing on you and Sigmar. Stinks. The mud here is very stinky. So what do you do? You've now slain this troll.
Yeah, I'll kind of get up and brush the mud off. Never send a man to do a hobbit's job.
Ugh, I don't know where the stink of the troll ends and the swamp begins.
Lagoron, are you okay?
I can't believe that.
What's not to believe?
You are a knight. I just thought you were like bragging.
No, I am a knight, true and steadfast. I live for battle.
We still have to write songs of this tale.
I do.
I don't think I'm up to that task.
Don't worry.
Side note, there is actually now a songwriting fellowship phase activity to write about your deeds and then sing the song later for a mechanical effect.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
But we'll get to that later. Yeah, you've slain this troll. You can kind of on the little hill you can see Ronen kind of looking at you by the dying light of the campfire. It's now there's like an eerie silence. Not even the night birds are chirping, or the bugs in the swamp.
I want to examine this troll and see what might have caused the taint.
Good idea.
So I'm thinking healing or insight.
Say insight or maybe lore even.
I was afraid you were going to say that.
Or isn't
do
there
some
someone
riddle?
in the group who has troll lore?
I could do some lore, and it's in my native habitat, so
You guys can go ahead.
free. I invoke
You can invoke.
Mirkwood lore.
Yeah, I mean, if you still want to roll anyway, because invoking just gets at the basic level. If you roll and do better, you can always get a better result. But also the second column of bubbles requires you can pass it on a regular success if you have a relevant trait. I'm not sure. If
All
anybody-
right. So, relevant trait. I got a Gandalf, and I got a 6.
Gandalf
So
was good, right?
what? How many do you have the second bubble filled out? Because that definitely qualifies for the third.
That is I have the second bubble filled out, so I got a
So
third.
fill out the third. So that's as meant for that group. That's as many attribute points or achievement points you can get for that group, just so no one spams something. But you realize that this troll is malnourished. Probably has been alone here for a very long time because it's a stone troll. So if it gets caught in the light of the sun, it'll turn to stone. And holes are few and far between here. The reason why it was so easy to fell is it is a large previous wound in its left hip. A very clean cut blow delivered this.
Like a dwarven axe?
Perhaps a dwarven axe, but it was clearly some kind of weapon. It wasn't some kind of orc trying to get this thing back, and it wasn't some kind of wild animal that attacked it. And it's very fresh, too.
I think we found sign of our quarry, gentlemen.
That's
It would
good.
seem so. It must be nearly morning. Perhaps we should prepare to shove off again when the sun comes up.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Got a few
Look
hours.
up at the trees. So
a few hours.
There's thick tree cover over here, right? Which I assume would keep the troll alive.
Yeah. Between that and like kind of sitting under his bush hat.
Yeah.
Kind of saved him.
Cut those trees a bit, I wonder. Put this troll to rest for good. Serve as a reminder, perhaps.
How would we do that? I haven't anything to fell a tree. You have an axe?
Yeah, nobody brought axes or mattocks.
I have a wood axe.
Oh, excellent.
I've been traveling for months. Of course, I have a wood axe.
I mean, yeah, these are large trees, so you could use that. It would take a few hours to get through its thickness.
I have a few hours.
So it's up to you. You can always do that if you really want to fell the tree.
We can trade off.
Yeah, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, brother, this is more your type of work.
What do you mean?
Well, you've rebuilt Laketown. Sure, you swung many an axe.
You and I can switch off Sigmar.
I'll work too. The three of us should be able to get it done in no time.
Okay. So right before dawn, you finish felling this tree. What are you doing with it now?
Oh, we're just going to fell the tree so the sunlight will fall on the troll and finish it.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So you do that, and it's almost like refreshing, the rays of the sun coming down onto you, because you've been here it's been a whole day and night now in this stinking, awful part of the forest. But you can hear like a cracking as the troll's thick, scaly skin kind of cracks and turns into almost like a granite-looking material. And it wasn't alive, so it doesn't like curl up or try to hide itself, but it's like laying underneath, just in the water, kind of just turning into this almost like stone monument to your victory over this beast.
That was unexpectedly pathetic.
It is sad to see such a great creature dead so pathetically.
No.
It's not a great creature.
A great creature, brother. It's fouler than the darkest corners of this swamp.
Perhaps it was not always so.
It is now.
Perhaps
I just realized the Hobbit's nickname. Ollo Bulger, Old Booger.
It's not fitting for a troll slayer.
Right.
No, but it is.
People
Since
just
it
call
has
me Sir Bulger.
24 hours. Let's see if lightedness is going to be affecting you.
Uh-oh.
Well, it is not. So probably the victory over the troll has bolstered spirits, and this little bit of sunlight you're able to feel on your skin as you fell the tree to turn to stone. But I'm assuming you're all going to continue on following the path now that you have, what the elves told you, gave the directions, and this solid clue in the form of the troll's previous wound.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So everybody make another travel roll as you're continuing through on your boat.
I desperately need to raise that.
I should be good at this.
Failed.
Oh, I got it. I got a 6 too. So
Nope.
14,
Well, I'll spend a
16,
point of hope.
17.
Nothing.
How many fellowship points do we have, by the way? I haven't been. I noticed we
We
still
got
have 2.
2 left.
Yeah.
Okay.
So whoever failed, raise your fatigue by 1 more point.
And if I got a 6, that means I can put 2 points down in movement, right?
Yes. So you're heading off. Everybody can make explore or search. Now, since you have a better idea of where you're going, everyone can kind of keep an eye out for signs.
Yes.
I'm
Ooh,
equally bad at both.
Yeah, I'll use Keen Eye.
Okay. Let's let everybody roll before I start telling you what that got you.
Nope. Got nothing.
Okay. Ooh,
Nothing.
Is this a 14 is required?
Yes.
12.
Oh. Well, Ollo, you notice a couple things. You find a small boat in the style of the Lakemen, kind of halfway sunk in the base of these almost, you can tell now you're closer, it's not like trees, but they're bits of old ruined pillars and parts of fallen walls that kind of rise out of the swamp like little gross fingers or like an old boxer's broken teeth. And amongst them, yeah, so you find a boat of the Lakemen, like one of your boats you brought, but just one of them. And the sides have been clawed at and like gnawed at. What do you do?
I kind of give everyone the silent motion, and I point towards that direction and start stealthily moving towards it.
All right. Make a stealth check. Also, everybody make a search check too.
All right. Can I use small folk for stealth?
Yes.
And off.
Can I use keen-eyed for search?
Sure.
Woo! How much am I supposed to be using these traits? I don't know if I'm using it correctly.
It's very vague. I mean, you can use them technically whenever, but if you're invoking them to pass rolls, you're not going to get any of the advancement points. So it's kind of a fair trade-off.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
And also it kind of helps speed the game along in a bit. Lagaron, what did you go? Let's just go around the circle. How do you do with your search?
I Gandalfed, but I didn't get any 6s.
Did you have any bubbles in that skill group?
Yeah, I have 2.
Okay. We know you did well, Ollo. Sigmar, how do you do on your search check?
I failed.
Okay.
Fine.
And then Ronen, how did you do?
I also failed.
Well, since he got a Gandalf rune, I will say that Lagaron is able to pull both of you back, narrowly avoiding these weeds that are creeping out.
There they are.
There it is.
Woo!
But you get up to the boat, and these aren't like sword slashes. These are very much, they're like raking like claws and like actual, you're now 100% of these are like bite marks on the sides of the boat.
Mhm.
Like troll bite marks?
No, like not that big. The very jagged and brutal like a troll, but like this, whatever was biting and scratching couldn't have been much taller than your average man.
Baby troll.
Weird. Or something fouler.
Could I roll hunting to see if I recognize it?
Sure, roll for it.
All right, that's not that great. Let's see what we got. And 9, so no.
I have no idea what this is.
A lore check?
You could try lore.
got a Gandalf.
You
No
have
sixes.
heard of certain things living in the marshes in kind of these dank old ruins. They're foul creatures. You've never seen one. You don't know anyone who's actually seen one, but you hear bits and bobs from old travelers and distant merchants of something called the marsh dwellers. They're horrible and they're foul both in appearance and smell.
I tell these guys, don't really know what it is, but matches the description.
Well, maybe that's where our prey are.
Yeah. Well, look inside the boat. Is there anything in there?
Just a broken oar.
So it appears they could have survived and gotten away with their stuff.
Let's hope.
So no blood splashed on the side of the boat.
Can you track these creatures back to their lair?
Possibly.
So at this point, you've been lingering around these ruins for some time. Everybody make a wisdom test for me, please.
Ooh.
As you all hear the faint sound of a bell coming from what seems below you.
What?
So wisdom 1, you just roll a 12-sider?
You
And
roll
1d6.
the 12 and 1d6.
I failed.
I got a 9.
Oh, I was rolling the wrong one.
Ooh.
I think Josh is actually rolling this time.
I got an 11, so whatever I got is not enough.
Well, I don't
Yeah,
think.
16 for me.
Okay, so you're fine. Everybody who failed take 1 point of shadow.
Oh no.
And you notice something very odd, Ollo. You hear the bell, and it definitely is. It's coming from under the earth. It sounds muffled, but you see that your companions are kind of just walking briskly towards the center of the ruins. And you see there's like an old arch, and there's like a what looks like a deep pool, and they dive headfirst into the pool. So you are now alone.
Oh no. Oh no.
Did everyone else fail?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, you see them kind of trudge on towards the center and dive into this deeper part.
I take out my sword and my shield, and I will stealthily head towards that location.
This is why you bring a hobbit.
So you head towards where they disappeared, and you can tell that it's not just a deeper pool, but whatever this was a larger structure at some point. It's stairs leading downward, and you can kind of see it goes out and enter into this little you can see the stairs go down and then further and probably comes up somewhere because you don't see your companions.
All right, I'll stay on my toes and see if I can find them.
All right, so you're going, I mean, you saw them go down here. Is that the way you're going?
Yeah, but I'll kind of anxious about that bell. I'll kind of take some items for, like, just something to stuff my ears with, just
Okay.
in case.
Okay, so you head down and it's unpleasant. It's soaking wet, the water's cold, but like 30 seconds later you can kind of see that it does come back up into a chamber underneath the water. Really quick. And outside the water, kind of laying next to where it comes back up, is you see all of your companions coming to, kind of getting up and looking around very strangely at you. All of you soaking wet also.
What? Ollo, what happened? What did you do?
Who are you to say that to me? What the? heck did you do?
What? We're all wet. What happened?
You guys, after hearing the bell, just kind of. This
What?
is where you're at.
We're underground, right?
Yeah.
What? Where are we? Is it night? It's so dark in here. How long have we been out?
And I'm gonna like stuff more of my ears and just kind of like
Ollo,
go
Ollo,
into the
listen. Ollo,
shadows.
back here. Where'd you go? I'll take out my wet matches and try to light a fire.
Do you have the fire making skill, right?
I do not. Oh, somebody
do.
does. All right. I'll try to do it, and you'll be like, "Come here, let me show you how to do it."
So you're able to. There's a lot of old wood, like barrels.
Make
You
the
see that
TP and-
this chamber, there's the stairs where you came in, and it opens up into a larger structure. But you do see, you're able to get like some makeshift torches set up because there is no dark vision in this game.
Right.
Good.
But yeah, what do? You can kind of hear dripping and dropping from further in this chamber.
I'll draw my sword.
Yeah.
All right.
Back
So-
to back.
You kind of open in, you head through the little chamber, and it opens up into a larger rectangular chamber with 6 passages, 3 on each side. And amongst the talking amongst yourselves, you hear the far right one. You hear a door open, and you hear a gruff voice. "Oh, hello? I thought I heard somebody.
You did.
Quickly, hurry, get in here before they come back."
We hurry in.
Yeah.
So you hurry in, and the door slams behind you, and you see 2 dwarves. They're tired, they're wet, they look like they got the shit kicked out of them. They've had a bad time. Oh, thank Allah you've come.
You look miserable.
Here, drink this quickly.
What is it?
I give them some of the elven wine. This is the Elven King's wine. It'll fortify you. Smoke this.
Bottle. They're like, "Oh gosh, Jeff."
Give me your matches. We must revive these dwarves.
I'll take out my solid pocket handkerchief and wipe their faces.
This is all fine and dandy, but we must, now that we have strength in numbers, we must leave before they come back.
What are
who's that?
they?
Hey.
The creatures that live here, the foul reek, the long, dangly arms that end in thick, pointed claws, the dead, pale eyes that set bulging out of their heads.
Elves?
That,
I'm standing right here.
in better places, that the joke would have been appreciated, but we must leave now. Go.
All right,
Take your wine. We must hurry.
All right, let's do this. And I kick open the door and
So you head back into the big main chamber and kind of milling about, but as soon as you open the door, staring at you are 8 creatures fitting the description of what you presume is Balin. Tells you about these shuffling things. They look like corpses that have been sitting in the swamp too long, grew longer arms, and have come back to life. But as soon as you come out into the main chamber, they all kind of just in unison turn and look at you and start like shambling towards you. Everybody make battle checks for bonus dice. They're out for blood.
what?
Yes.
Can
I
they
got-
not?
I got a Gandalf, but I didn't get any 6s.
That's one bonus die. Well,
I got an
that.
11. I don't think that counts.
I'm not good at battle.
Got a Gandalf and 9.
Hang on. You know
that's-
what? I'll spend
want.
another point of hope. That will bring me up to. That'll bring my result up to, let's see, 11. It'll bring up to 19.
Okay. So then I'll give you got no 6s, right?
So I add another temporary shadow, right?
No, unless you said you only get a shadow if you
Wow, I'll
Take the
lower my
fellowship.
hope. Yeah. I got no sixes.
So that's one bonus die for you. So basically, anyone who got a 14 gets a bonus dice.
I get the
two or-
success point, though, right?
Yes, it still counts as a regular skill roll.
What does it take to get to the second dot of success?
You either need a great success or a regular success and explain why a relevant trait is relevant.
Well, how do you get a great success?
Well, six on the roll.
Okay.
On one of the success dice.
All right, didn't get those.
There will be no opening shots. It's too cramped to use any bows down here. But you are going first. These creatures are slow. What stances is everybody taking?
I will take forward.
Forward?
Defensive, and I see in defenses you can protect a companion. I will protect Sigmar.
Okay. And Lagaron, what stance are you taking?
I'm gonna go forward.
Forward. So we got
Open.
2 forwards, an open, and a defensive. Okay.
I'm creeped out by these things.
Mm-hmm.
And there will be 2 on each of you. But Lagaron is going first since you're in forward.
Okay. What is your wits, Josh?
My wits are 4.
Okay. So then I'm definitely going first.
In forward, you would only need a 10 to hit them.
Oh, yeah. I got a 10.
Did you beat your edge at all on just the D12, not on the roll as a whole?
No.
Okay.
So damage is just the weapon, right?
Yeah, if you didn't get any 6s, it's just the weapon damage.
So it would be 5.
All right. All right. Ronen.
I'm just going to wait. I was thinking about singing at them.
Try and awe them.
I was going to try to sing a song to return them to the grave.
Yeah, there is one of the non-combats. Actually, if you want to do that, you have to make a... Sorry, I forgot about one of the attributes.
Because I have rhymes of lore, which I believe is a specialty, which I can use it in conjunction with a custom skill, including courtesy song or riddle.
These creatures have the foul reek. The only thing you can really do to affect them is by swinging a sword at them to go away.
Okay.
The stench is immeasurable.
All right, I will do that.
All right, so roll for it.
Okay, so my sword skill is 1, so I'll roll that plus I may end up burning some more fate, but we'll see.
I would use the fellowship points because you would get them back at the start of every session. You go to the full.
Are there any fellowship points left? I got
We
7.
have
1.
2 left.
Oh, 2.
Yeah, 2 left.
okay.
1 belongs to me, though.
You can have both if you want. I can just miss.
Well, I get the 1. You guys have used yours. I get mine.
I will burn another. I'll burn another point of hope.
Okay.
So that will get me. It's body, right?
Yes.
And I need to get 10.
Yes, to hit them in forward.
So that will just push me right over to where I need to be.
All right. So you do hit them. Did you get any 6s?
Unfortunately, no.
No. So that just does regular damage, which I think is 5 because you just have a sword.
Sword is 5, yeah.
Okay. All right. And then we're moving on to Sigmar. I don't know why I couldn't remember that for a second.
Oh.
But Sigmar, yeah, since you're in open.
I'm last, right?
I'm
open.
Ulo's last.
Ollo's last because he's
all right.
defensive.
All right, I'll roll my sword. So these things have like a terrible stench.
Yes. So the only thing you can't really take any other actions against them other than just try and stab them.
Oh, yeah. All right, so that's 13 plus 7, so 20.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
All right, and the damage is the same, unless the open stance affects it.
Open stance is 9 plus parries. So you need what are these guys? So you need a 13.
Okay. Yeah, I got
What's
that.
your edge or get any 6s?
No, I missed the edge by 1. All right, so it's 11 damage.
11 damage. Okay. So you managed to just kill one outright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
So I've just got like my hand over my face, and I'm just like, just trying to keep it as far away from me as I can.
So your flurry of just quick blows, just this thing just collapses, all cut up and mangled by your firm mannish steel that you made in someone made in Laketown. So then it would be Ollo. You need since you're in defensive, you would need a 16 to hit.
I do not. I miss as I strike forward, but
Okay.
jumps out of the way.
So we will start with there. They're now swinging their filthy claws back at you. Let's go in the same order. Let's start with Lagaron's guy. What's your parry, Lagaron?
7, and I have a shield, a buckler.
So it'd be 8 altogether. Or is the 7 including
I
the
think
shield?
the 7 is including the shield. Yes.
Okay, so forwards. That is no. The other one misses wildly. The one's on Ronen. What's your parry, Ronen?
My parry is 4.
10, no. And no.
Aha!
The ones on Sigmar
Are
What's your
after I spend 2 hope and both attacks I defend, so it's against
Oh.
me.
Okay, so what's your parry altogether? Because it's 12 plus your parry is what I need to hit.
Yeah, my parry is 11.
No. No. And then the 2 that were on you. No. And what's that? One of them does hit you for what's the bite do? You take 4 points of endurance damage.
All right.
Or your endurance by 4 is
There goes my stupid point.
I like spit the blood out. Come on.
So, top of the turn, what stance is everybody taking?
Staying.
Yeah, I'll stay as well.
Same.
All right. So, Lagaron, you're going first again.
Okay. I whack at him. And I fail. I got a 3.
So,
That sucked.
Ronen, you can try now
It
to
was so
fight off the
bad.
marsh dwellers.
Come on, elf.
It was so bad to not even a bonus die and then sacrificing a point would have helped.
That's how it goes.
Yep.
You just build a dice room you can just throw them just in any direction and you'll always find them. Sit on the floor. Yes. And then, of course, always tell me if the feat die just specifically is higher.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
No. You need a base 6 to hit them in your stance. So then that then goes to. We'd need a 11. I mean, I was just saying because you rolled a 3, and just the base level for the stance is 6 plus the parry of the monsters. All right, you guys are spending a lot of hope.
We're hopeless.
Yeah. All right, Sigmar.
All right, I'll spend my extra die. Ooh, that's an 11.
Ooh, we got an ISR on.
Did I? What?
Oh, 11 altogether, or just 11 on the feet?
Oh, 11 altogether. Yeah.
Oh,
Needed a 13.
yeah, you need a 13.
Man,
Spend a point of hope.
4
you
dice.
could.
Ah. All right, I'll miss.
You'll miss? Okay. So, Ollo then.
Ollo. I got a 14.
That misses. You needed a 16 to hit in
All right.
rearward.
Ah. Stop
So-
bouncing about.
They are now attacking you, starting with Lagaron. What's your parry?
7.
7. So you take 4 points of damage as one of them rakes across your body with its gross, stinking claws. Other one. Oof. It scratches you across the chest, and you take 8 more points of damage. So I'm assuming you're probably weary by now.
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
One's on Ronen. No. And no. The one on Sigmar.
I got him.
Oh, you got him? You're gonna... All right.
Yeah. So also I want to use because was it he's my fellowship focus?
Yeah.
How do I use that?
Well, it depends on which one. Did you pick the source of hope or the source of inspiration? The source of hope gives you if they're unwounded or not
The attribute
miserable.
bonus one.
Yeah, you did inspiration.
Okay, yeah. So then you'd be able to spend points of hope for free to help your fellowship focus.
Oh, can I? How many times can I do that?
As long as it's to directly help him, indefinitely.
So I can get back all the hope I spent protecting him?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, so I'll just continue to protect him.
All right. So okay.
Yay.
I was worried my dice won't fall through, but no. And no. And the actual one's on you. No. And no. So they're kind of shaken a bit. Some of them have been beat up. They're usually when they get prey, they are not expecting a fight. But you see them kind of back off a bit, and you see one of the dwarves just grab the Hobbit. So we need to leave now. This is our only chance. There's hundreds of them down here.
All right, carry me. Let's go.
Run!
All right.
And I'm assuming the dun, 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 as you rush across, dipping and diving, trying to get out of their way. You go back into the water and you come back up and you see them. It's like you have boats nearby. Let's put as much distance as we can between us and this infernal place.
I agree.
Yes, we decided at the end to bring 2 boats and not just one.
Oh, perfect. Let's go.
I as we run, I say not to be insensitive or anything, but do you happen to have the necklace still?
Oh. We'll stop by our campsite. I left it there. And as you see, it's a little place near where the boats were abandoned, but he does something, and you see he had placed a rune of secrecy on a log, so he rolls it over and pulls the thing out, puts it back.
Whoa.
Ooh.
So yes, let's get to your boats now. I'm assuming you fall ahead to the boats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get to the boats and head back north. Make a travel roll because you're just heading back to Laketown now.
Making my way downtown, walking fast.
Making my way to Laketown, paddling, medium pace. No dragon in my face.
What does weary do?
As long as you're weary, 1s, 2s, and 3s on all dice rolls count as zeros.
Can I rally him with a song?
No, just because that's a specific inaction. But everybody does get back. Sorry, I'm looking at my GM screen I have for my charts here. Everybody gets 2 endurance plus your basic heart because nobody actually took a wound.
Okay.
Cool.
But it doesn't go beyond starting endurance, right?
Yeah, of course. But then you're unweary as soon as your endurance is higher than your fatigue.
Higher than or equal to?
I'd say higher than.
Okay. I did, however, on my travel roll, I got a 14. Is that a success?
Yes.
And I got a 6.
So yeah, that would count as the second little bubble. If you haven't
That
filled
would be
that one
my
out already.
first bubble.
Oh, so first one, yeah. So fill in the first one. I'd say that it's a little easier going back because the dwarves, even though they are exhausted, are offering to help paddle in whatever capacity they can.
Yeah.
And then you make it. You're now just. It feels so good. The sun on your face. You are now exiting the forest of Mirkwood, and make another travel check to see how well you do getting back all the way to Esgaroth.
Can I use my boating specialty?
Yes, to automatically pass.
Finally, rivers that I can understand, not clogged with trees and roots and filth.
So it takes you a bit of time. It takes about 8 days, but they're uneventful. Heading up, and you see the friendly faces at the Stair of Girion, and they help you get your boats up. They seem to know the dwarves that come with you, and you spend the night there again. That gross old man has his same rhyme that he keeps telling you. But you get to Laketown at about noon with glorious fanfares. You see Glowin in very nice clothing on a pleasure barge with the current master of Laketown. It's like, a friend of mine, one of the ravens of the mountain, saw you coming. And we saw that my companions were in tow, and we thought we would have a glorious celebration for you.
Ah, glorious it shall be then.
That is excellent. That is excellent news.
And just so you know, you are in the presence of Old Booger, Slayer of Trolls.
Oh my gosh. It's Sir Bulgar, Slayer of Trolls.
Booger Trollsbane.
Booger Troll's Bane.
I'm going to sneak up on you in the middle of the night.
It is true.
Well-
None of you have ever even heard of a half-man slaying a troll, but we saw it with our own eyes.
You get hefted on my shoulders and carried into town.
Yeah.
So
I'm like,
you're.
is the tavern over there?
Oh, yes. But first, come aboard the barge. It's the master of Laketown. He's kind of a portly, mustached old man, and he's like, "Oh yes, come aboard, great heroes. You've helped members of Thorin's great company. Who, without him or his companions, we would have none of this prosperity. But please come aboard." And as I promised, as you get aboard and start enjoying, somebody brings you wine and some food. Glowin hands you a little pouch, heavy with gold coins. So each of you get 5 treasure points. It's on the second sheet.
Yay.
Hooray!
And
Now
you have a
that
very
is
nice
something to
time.
sing about.
And that is the Marsh Bell.
Yeah.
Congratulations, party.
Everybody take 3 experience points too.
Sweet.
That's
So-
advancement points?
No, experience. That's the top right of the first sheets.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, 3.
If we decide to play again, we can talk about the advancement points and fellowship phase and do all that stuff. But
And
it was very
song
fun.
crafting phase.
yes, I would enjoy playing more at some point.
Yes, I
This is my-
really like this game. I
Yeah,
love
it's a lot of fun.
Tolkien's world.
Yeah.
And the last time we tried to play Tolkien, I don't know if Josh remembers this,
Merp.
but we were. Yeah, it was Merp.
I've seen
It's a
Merp. and
nightmare.
Merp is bad.
It's the hero
What?
system. It's
Merp.
super crunchy and old.
I don't know who thought of a Tolkien. I was like, "Yep, we should have playable orcs and trolls and
Oh, no.
fireball casting wizards as a class."
Oh.
And charts for everything.
Yeah, it's a rough game. I heard a lot of the lore and adventures are good for it, but the system itself kind of sucks.
Yeah. This is the One Ring is a far superior game in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it's my favorite. Oh, now since this is what the thingies look like, I tried my best to describe them, but That's what a marsh dweller looks like.
Oh yeah,
That's what I pictured.
spooky.
They don't look as much as elves as I thought they'd be. I
Not
thought they'd
quite.
just be like marshy people with pointy ears, like
I'm
elves.
standing right here.
Anybody.
Well, thanks everybody.
Yeah, appreciate
right.
it very
We want
much.
to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time.
Good nighty night.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.